sell you on 3D printing at home where they get a cut? Well, look no further. A company's found the perfect middle ground for people with just enough money to spend, but not enough to do anything useful with. Karak Crate, where you get a new crate of random Karak items every single month. Each month, a different box arrives at your door. Spatulas, used socks, my slightly bent and beat up cheese grater, or a cat. That's right, for only $14.99 per month, twice a month, you get a small crate sent to your house, just absolutely stock full of useless bullshit. Each pack is created to make sure that you get at least 4 rare items as well as 4 items that you won't have any fucking clue what to do with. Now, just some of the amazing things that you can get in your new Karak Crate: a pair of bloody scissors, used facial scrubber, 1/2 of a well-worn jockstrap, and the last ball of lint that my cat coughed up. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't find a better deal for something to make you feel like you're wasting your cash on crap anywhere else. And these items are nice enough to display proudly around your home as a member of the Karak Crate. Each comes with a stand made of genuine bullshit. The same bullshit anyone is trying to prattle to you like you're a rot-lipped gape mouth whenever they want you to pay for a mystery crate filled with useless shit just like this. So again, try Karak Crate. For just $21.99 per month, 4 times a month, each month, twice a month, you can get an amazing crate filled with stuff that you will have no fucking idea what to do with. Karak Crate, where strange comes to you. Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you frustrated by your folk? What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and I'm here with Reg and Silver and Johnny for the ACG podcast number...
something or other.
Definitely 200.
I think it is 200.
Something.
No, well, of the official ones, I think I named it 200, right? 260. It was an even number. I was only 60 off. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for joining up. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody showing up live. Very cool of you all. Let's see. 1 year ago, Sony promised a free upgrade for... Oh, yeah. We're talking about that, aren't we? Yeah. We'll talk about that during the podcast. We'll definitely talk about Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Yeah.
Forbidden West. Let's see. What do we have that's coming up or that we have to pimp? Are you doing anything, Johnny? You doing anything amazing this weekend?
Yes. Well, actually, I've been doing YouTube videos.
No, oh, okay.
Yes. Yes. Something I'm very excited about, actually. I've been doing these kind of vlog style every Friday. I do like a discussion topic on YouTube. So today's one is out if people want to give it a shot and check it out, see if you dig it. I've been actually really excited to do more YouTube now that we're also focusing more here.
Yeah. What is it on? Can you say what it's on?
Yeah. So today's is about hub world versus open world games and talking about games I love of each, strengths and weaknesses of the different types and all that.
Very cool. Thanks for the recent game reviews. ACG, you're welcome, Ross. I appreciate it. Appreciate anybody watching it who gets a chance because, damn, those views suck. I don't know. I don't think it's the podcast. Like, I don't think it's us doing the podcast on here because it was happening prior to that. But now every time I post something, it's like checking and it checks the monetization. And because it checks the monetization, it doesn't send it out to everybody. It like looks at, I think, what you've watched. So if you've watched maybe younger person stuff, it won't send it to you. All that kind of shit. It absolutely sucks donkey balls. So yeah, views have been way down. I tremendously appreciate you guys clicking on those and watching those, especially because today we did the top, what was it? 10 September
games of September.
September games, which is interesting because September, I don't know. Some people were saying they didn't think there was anything cool in September. I thought there was a couple cool games. I mean, some stuff's moved.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys.
I mean,
is there anything?
Dude, when I saw your video, I was like, you know, what 10 games are there in September? And then actually watching it, okay, there's actually, you know, some interesting stuff coming out.
Yeah, there's a good number of them. What about Reg, Silver? Any titles that you guys are like excited for?
I mean, Sable is September, right?
Well, okay. I didn't put that in because that's not on my official list anymore. It was removed from September, so I don't know. Because that was brought up in the comments.
It may have been pushed out. I'm not sure.
I would agree. Sable really high on my list, if so. But since it wasn't on there, I was just like, uh-oh, here we go. You know, like, what does that mean? What about you, Reg?
Well, just now Pathfinder came out. That was already a big title for September.
Yeah.
Then we have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt coming up, which looked like it could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, anything else? Life is Strange, the next one is coming out this month. Lost in Random is probably my big one that I'm looking forward to.
A lot of people brought that up too. Lost in Random. Whoa, dog agrees. Yeah, we Life is Strange. Cross my fingers. True Colors. Let's just hope.
True Colors.
That's the problem I have every time it's brought up. It's Cyndi Lauper, right? That was Cyndi Lauper, 1980s.
Wait,
Isn't True Colors?
I know it
Cyndi
from
Lauper?
Phil Collins, the book of Collins.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, what? Phil Collins sings that as well? He did a copy of that? Or like a cover of
maybe.
it?
Maybe. I don't know if he did it originally or not. Probably not.
He stole it from poor Cyndi Lauper, man. Cyndi Lauper just got screwed on that one.
Yeah.
So Kena looks cool. I think that one looks awesome graphically. Silver, was there anything?
Not that I remember, like for September.
Other than Sable?
It's like I don't remember the timelines. Like I really just go like week to week. Also because of, like it's enough to just try and keep up with what's coming out every week without really looking forward too much. Because every week there's like 4 games that aren't on the radar, and then they come out and release. So just trying to keep up with that is enough.
Also, the top games for September popped up, and I realized how many are releasing on the same day, which sucks. 24th is pretty heavy. I think 6.
Oh yeah, Lost Judgment. True.
16, yeah, Lost Judgment.
I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, Reg, but you know, if you had watched Karak's video, right?
I did not.
Do you know what I mean? Because you've mentioned a couple games now.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, we can all agree that those are good games and that my video is awesome and he missed out. That's
also
fine.
the question about which games you're looking forward to.
Lost Judgment, man, I can't. I'm just really excited.
I'm really excited as well. Yeah.
It's one of those games. What's up, Zariel? Thanks for showing up, man. It is one of like the games that surprised me. Judgment surprised the hell out of me. So I'm really excited for this. Hopefully it doesn't suck. I mean, I don't see how it would, but
yeah, they got the pedigree to
this year
reliably make this kind of game.
Yeah, but so have some other companies that have reliably.
Well, that's true. That's true. We've seen some. That's yeah.
You just keep talking.
Oh
no.
Reconnection successful. We'll see what happens. Let's just keep talking. Let's pretend like everybody's listening.
It's live. It's fixed.
Today has been crap. Right before we started, Reg got a blue screen, a death screen. That's why his background looks like it's 1960s and shit. Actually, it's weird because it's the same background, but the colors, like, really.
Well, it's also the
muted?
same webcam, but without any of the settings.
Oh, gotcha. I see. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Can we talk about Hot Wheels? You mean just like as children? Just grabbing Hot Wheels and playing in the background? Is there a Hot Wheels game?
Bro, don't play with my feelings. I would totally play a Hot Wheels game right now.
There must be, because multiple people have mentioned Hot Wheels. So I'm assuming there's a Hot Wheels game here at some point. I wasn't even aware of that's the problem. There's so many games.
Wasn't the last Forza Horizon had a Hot Wheels DLC?
No, that was 3, right? Horizon 3. The one in Australia.
The prior one.
Was it the prior one? We've gone that far. We've gone that far.
Yes.
It's so difficult to track everything, man. Anyway, it's a good time to be a gamer. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We absolutely appreciate it. One of the reasons why I slowed this down a little bit at the starting is because I did want to verify if we were going to have tech issues. Reg is on a new computer. I was having some issues this morning. Had a little bit of one right there. So I wanted to slow it down a little bit before we jump into all the different stuff we want to discuss. First of all, though, everybody in chat, what are you playing? I want to know. Is anybody playing Pathfinder? So let's just jump into Pathfinder. What do you think, Reg? Yeah. You're in the character creator. 6 hours later, you're in the character creator.
Pretty much. I started it yesterday, and I spent probably 2 hours, if not more, just in the character creator.
Wow.
Because there's just so much stuff to go through and decide on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
And this is not even like customizing the character, right? Because based on the review,
that's quickly done. Yeah.
Yeah.
done.
You got like a tiny slider.
I got people who are mad at me for bringing that up in the review, but I'm like, listen, man, after all this time of customizing your character and getting all excited, you go in there and it's like 3 body types: portly, somewhat portly, and thin as a fucking rail. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? And
It's
you
like
have
you,
like
sc-
3
you scroll
faces.
through the classes, and there's like 50 of them.
It's
with
ridiculous.
10 subclasses
Yeah.
each, and then you come to the character creation, and you're like, here's your 10 colors. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was really, really unfortunate. But anyway, so you got in there, you jumped around, started looking.
Yep.
There's a lot of math. It's Math Finder is what it should have been called, because there's just you're playing it and you're like,
Right.
okay, so dude, I can't remember if I left it in the actual review. I may have, but I was cutting stuff out of that review because it was just too long. I hated that review. I'm glad people liked it. Thought it was fucking terrible. It still gave the idea of the game, but I just wasn't happy with it because there's so much in that game that's difficult to describe. And one of them is that a
Right.
first skill can say, like, does your level points of damage against an enemy, and then 1d4 less damage against the enemies next to them, depending on the level that gave you this spell, rounded up.
Oh yeah.
That's the first. That's a first level spell, and you're like, I'm sorry, what? And then you have synergy spells that are like,
Basically,
if
a
you're,
math equation written
oh,
out.
dude,
yeah.
it's ridiculous. It'll be like, if you're next to somebody who then does this successfully, then yours has a chance of doing successfully divided by the chance of the amount of people around you, and you're like, I don't even know how. And it's got real time, by the way. So a lot of that could be done in a 10-person Diablo because I had 6 characters, and then of course you can multi-class. So I did what everybody does, and I have at least one beast creator, so that you have a beast in there. So now I've got 6 dudes with fucking 6 battle cats. Well, I didn't go. I went with poisonous centipede, which was awesome.
That sounds awesome.
What'd you choose to go with?
I
Reg?
went. I don't remember the class name, but of one with an animal companion. I took the wolf, and I can summon some creatures. Supposedly, at least I chose that skill.
Oh, no shit. That's totally different than mine. I want to read this super chat. Thanks for the super chat, guys. As you guys know, we don't run ads. Well, I run my own, but there's no ads on here, so I appreciate you guys with the super chats. Banana Sheen says, hey, Karak, love the walk in the walk. Every fall, I replay Night in the Woods, and has one of the best sound and art designs. Any chance you'll cover it? First of all, Night in the Woods is awesome, but it didn't work for me. I can admit that. I think everybody liked Night in the Woods but me. So
Yeah, I liked it.
yeah,
I haven't played that one.
dude. It is the one with the monsters in the woods, right? The creatures.
It's
like
with
you play as-
the weird kind of depressive cat that you're playing.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, it's one of those games. I think, what was the other one? Not Inside. Yeah, it was Inside that also didn't. Was it Inside?
Inside was that
Yeah,
mostly green.
It was inside.
Yeah, there's a couple games that the world loves, and I play them, and I'm like, it's just, I don't know. It just didn't hit for me. So I apologize for that, but, you know, right now. ST says, did you ever discuss your consolidation tweet? Nope, not yet. I will be, though. Let's see. Loving the colors and the look on the PS5. I'm playing X-Men Legends 2 and Spider-Man Miles Morales because even is gaming anymore. I don't know what that means, but I do agree that those are good games to play. X-Men Legends 2 and Spider-Man Miles Morales. We've all beat that, right? Miles Morales?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay. Oh, 2 no's. I was not expecting that. Not a plan, Silver?
No, I don't have a PS5 for one thing. I mean, it is available on PS4, right? Or
Now, yeah, because Sony said it wasn't going to be, right? So abbreviated reviews, $1.49 for the super chat and a burger picture. That's Enyo for you. That like
Cheers.
That sums him up perfectly in there. I like it. Reg, you said you also didn't. So
Yeah, I didn't.
well, did you try it?
I tried it, but I didn't. It didn't really hit home, especially the music choice.
We talked about that. A little different, isn't
not mine.
Matthew Manique, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, says, playing Psychonauts 2, loved your review. Thank you. That game was good. Reg, you finish that?
Which one?
Psychonauts 2?
Psychonauts, yes.
Did you like it all the way through?
I liked it a lot, especially on Xbox, because it looked amazing there and ran super smooth. Ran much better and looked much better than on the PC for me.
HDR?
Yes, exactly. The only platform they locked HDR to.
Got to fix that shit, man. What about you, Silver? Psychonauts 2?
Not yet. Most of my time's still been taken up with work, and what little gaming time I've had has still been Dragon's Dogma, mainly.
Dragon's Dogma again. Gotcha.
Oh,
are you
interesting.
going to do the full expansion? Whatever.
Yeah, I've
Dark
already,
Arisen.
but I'm trying to like level a character to level 200 for once, actually, and see how that goes.
See how that goes. Get back to us in a month. I'm just joking. It shouldn't take that long. Johnny, what about you?
For
Did you do Miles?
Psychonauts?
No, for Psychonauts. Yeah, I know about Miles, but I was going to ask you about Psychonauts.
Yeah. So I played it a little bit, but I'm not really in the mood right now for that kind of, because it has that tone that's kind of a cartoonish, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're not in the mood for that, you're just going to be rolling your eyes at every dialogue line. So I'm saving it for a time where I can kind of enjoy that, if that makes sense.
I don't know if you guys feel this way, but not everybody, but sometimes Uncanny Valley commercials or whatever you won't like. It just depends. And I know with that game, like I said in the review, the main chick looks like she swallowed a football and just or put it in her mouth and then didn't swallow it. There, everybody's off a little bit. And I was Jeff Canada was nice enough to invite me to the DLC podcast last week, and Christian Spicer was on there, and he was saying the same thing. He's like, it just looks a little tweaky enough that it makes him disturbed. Which,
a bit off-putting.
If anybody, you have to be old to remember this or have seen it on YouTube, but there was a Phil Collins, funny enough, but when he was with the band Genesis, they did Land of Confusion with Muppets. And it's difficult for people to watch because it's like Ronald Reagan is a Muppet and their features are odd. What was the one? Was it Cartoon Time or whatever with the pirates? Yar har diddly dee. And the bad guy had the plastic hair and the big chin. He died recently of cancer. European comedian. People probably know what I'm talking about, but it was like it was one of those kid TV shows, and they had one of the main guys had like the weird, almost moon, like a moon face, where and that I'm not this sort of creeps me out, so I get it. Ty Cooker says, "Would you humor me and check out the new Bum Simulator?" I own it, man. Dude, I check out all the simulator games. Bum Simulator's not bad. Sean Locke, is that what somebody says? Sean Locke, is that the right person? Anyway, so long story short, Psychonauts. Let's see, what else have you guys been playing? Dragon's Dogma. Have you guys been watching anything, or have you seen any shows? Been watching any movies? Doing anything entertainment-wise?
Yeah, I've been watching What If on Disney Plus.
What if? Oh, the Marvel.
Yes, the Marvel.
Yeah. How do you like that?
Quite a bit actually. Some episodes are definitely weaker than others, but overall it's quite good.
Thank you, Lazy Town. Robbie Rotten was who it was I was talking about. Thank you very much for saying that. Silver or Johnny, you guys been watching anything?
Also actually on Disney Plus. I've been binging a show I grew up with, which is MASH.
MASH is good.
The Alan Alda series. Just been revisiting that, and it's been really, really interesting to see like how ahead of the time it really was for a show like from the 70s. Some of the issues that it handles, and the depths of some of the characters. Like Charles Winchester is still like one of my favorite characters of any television show. It's just the levels that show goes to is something that hasn't really. It certainly wasn't really seen on television then, and it's rarely been matched since, I think.
I would agree. Yeah. I think it'd be hard for people to watch it now. They wouldn't get it unless, not everybody, but you know what I mean. It was a different time prior to, like, Afghanistan.
I mean, I will say,
watch it.
I mean, the first couple of seasons haven't aged well. Like, they're extremely sexist. Like, towards women, but it does improve with the latter seasons, markedly so. Like Margaret Houlihan is kind of a one-note character the first couple of seasons, but after Burns leaves, she starts to sort of become her own character and really sort of becomes her own. So yeah, the show really does sort of evolve over its span for the better.
Anybody in chat, what shows have been watching? What books you've been reading? Music, new music? Suggest to me some music. What about you, Johnny?
Dude, I finished recently Bosch, which is my
So
maybe
good.
like my favorite recent like investigation / like police work kind of show.
Procedural, I guess, is the term that people use.
I don't know. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's.
Dude, it's nice to see him get a good guy spot, Johnny. Titus, that guy has been a bad guy. That guy was growing up, and I'm sure his mom was like, "You look like a bad guy." Day one.
Yeah.
She gave birth to him and was like, "I don't want you." I'm just joking. Titus Welliver, I think is his name.
Yeah. And just like Goliath, it seems like he was made for the role. It's
exactly.
He's not acting, it's him.
It's like
great.
If they chose a different role than actor, that's who they would be, is whatever show they're in. And and Goliath is another one that when you're watching Goliath, you're like, Billy Bob probably hasn't fit a show better.
It's perfect.
Maybe
and
better.
By the way,
Santa.
Another thing, I watched the Witcher animation movie. Have you guys seen that?
I haven't.
Not yet.
I will just say it's worth watching. Like at the very least, the production quality is quite good. So I'll definitely recommend checking it out.
What's the voice actor? Who does? Is it what's his name?
Well, it's Vesemir. So it's a prequel, right? So this takes you back a lot of years before the game, let's say. So it's nicely complementary, I would say, to the game, but don't expect, a ton of connections and things like that for directly. It's its own thing, really.
I would more expect that it was connected explicitly not to the games, because as far as I know, the author is working with Netflix and he still hates the games.
Right. So just like this show, right? It is mostly focused on the source material rather than the game. But yeah.
All right.
I think just season 2 of the actual show will connect much more to the games. From what I've heard. So who knows?
For Witcher.
All right.
Yeah. Like care, like they've made like specific care more and stuff from the games for the show.
Is that it? No. I wasn't. I'm being smart. I'm just saying. Is that all you had to add about that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been doing Bosch as well. I started rewatching Longmire and Goliath, which is weird that we're all talking about those shows. I think when bad times happen, sometimes I need to watch fun shows, and then sometimes I need to watch a show where the guy's life is worse than mine. And Goliath,
and their lives are a mess. Dude,
Longmire, that dude can't get through a 2-minute period without pissing somebody off because he talks way slower than a glacier moves. It's just, and by the way, he's one of the in the Matrix. He was one of the agents, the guy who plays Longmire. It's so interesting to watch him in that, but he's just like, guy will talk for 10 minutes and Walt will just be all, well, okay then. And just walk off, and you're like, all right, that was a lot for just, where Justified, which I love, is like bang, 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 and what's his name's always dropping one-liners.
Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, Timothy Olyphant. In one line in Longmire, a guy, he finally threatens somebody, and he's a sheriff, so he doesn't. And when he does, it was the scariest moment I think I've ever seen in TV, because Walt doesn't threaten people. And the guy says something, and all Walt does is just like, I'll find you, and smiles. And he's like, it's like a demon. He's like, and you're just like, dude, what the that was creepy as fuck. I like those characters that carry and they don't need to talk. I like Justified, though. And Bosch, he doesn't need to talk. Those are all great shows, man, where the lead characters don't need to...
In fact, dude, they make a point to make the dialogue so succinct. Succinct, yeah. He barely says, like, 2 words. Instead of the full sentence, he will say, like, 2 words. It's almost like code at some points.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
It makes sense. Right? And that's what's so great
efficient.
about Bosch having its next season, because they've decided to move the story into the next books. And Justified, they announced a couple months ago, Justified's coming back. And it looks like Oliphant will come back for that. And so you're just like, all these cool shows are coming back. I don't know if it's maybe because movie stars are like, nobody's going to the theaters.
Wait, bro, Bosch is coming back?
Bosch is for sure a whole nother series.
Shit.
I don't want to say much more than that, but it's for sure. He announced it. They announced it. It is 100% for sure. Justified is about 80% for sure. But Timothy Oliphant already said, do you guys think it's, like I said, maybe it's the actors just going, dude, theaters, who knows when those will open? So why not do a TV show? You know? I mean, especially if you're the lead and Netflix is paying out bank. You know, Amazon's paying out bank. So...
Yeah.
I mean, the stigma of television that was there in like the 80s and 90s is gone.
It's gone. Yeah. Dexter's coming back. True, Dexter.
Oh,
like,
dude,
of all the shows, it's about a serial killer who's
so
supposedly a good guy, and he's back. So if you can do that, you can do anything. People are reading Ready Player One.
We actually got a finished movie for Deadwood to like round off and then end Deadwood.
Yeah,
that alone is...
Veronica Mars, Silver. I know you probably haven't seen, but Veronica Mars actually really liked.
I know Veronica Mars. Yeah.
That got 1 or 2. I think that got 2 movies. So like, yeah, you know, these, and well, made for what do you call them now? Made for TV movies, I guess.
Right. TV,
right.
Something or
straight to DVD or whatever.
Yeah. I love this stuff, man. I mean, I think it's cool, especially for gamers when you're looking at all these games coming out and stuff. Sometimes you want to play a game, you just want a little bit of music on the side, you know, a little TV show on the side, that kind of thing. I was playing Pathfinder. And Pathfinder's got voiced through much of it, but then it doesn't also at times, which I admit is a little depressing. But when I was playing it and there was these long battles, you know, having a show on the side, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something funny. I don't know. So I don't know who's playing this. We're not going to spoiler Pathfinder, but I do have to say that game's fucking a lot. And
right.
There's times where I redid a battle that was an hour in real time. And it was about 4.5 hours in turn-based because turn-based, and that's one battle. That's how big the game is. It's ridiculous. And I said this to somebody in a Reddit thread where I said, the only problem with Pathfinder is, do you know how sometimes a movie will have an ending, then a stinger, or an ending and then the bad guy's hand comes out of the dirt, right? But then you sometimes get movies that hit almost twice, where you have that and you're like, okay, it's done. And then it goes a little bit longer. And sometimes you're like, that wasn't needed. Like, that's every
Lord
battle.
of the Rings, Return of the King.
No, dude, you just hit it. Oh, I wish I had thought of that during the review. That's exactly, yes, the 55 endings, that is exactly what happens in Pathfinder. Every battle, you're like, you do this battle, and you're like, that has to be the battle, right? That has to be. That's it. That has to be the main thing. That's a wrap. And then there's another main thing, and you're like, okay. And then one of the battles, there was like 4. And I was doing this thing where because you sleep, this game fucks you over for sleeping. So when you sleep, the corruption of the world infects you. The problem is you can only sleep in places where it protects you. Otherwise, even if you like adequately defend yourself against the corruption, it still slowly grows, which I got to admit I'm not a fan of. I think you should be able to stop it versus, you know, if you put the right people in the right spots, you should be able to have a chance of stopping it. This one just has a chance of slowing it down or not. And it impacts your ability scores. And I don't know if anybody knows, but impacting your ability scores isn't like taking a skill away. That's like taking your left leg away.
Yeah, right.
And it's rough. There were a couple times where I had 3. In my review, you can see I had 3 levels of corruption, which was like -10 to my ability scores. So this dude's like a baby, like a newborn baby in plate armor with like -20 to hit. And the game is like, one more battle. And you're all...
And that plays into the length of the battles directly, right?
It becomes a grind, right?
Yeah, because I saw a lot of people telling me that they didn't have FPS issues. And I right away knew what difficulty they were playing on. Right away, because if you have the difficulty higher and you have, there's a check mark in there for bigger groups of enemies, and if you and bigger spells, they can cast like advanced spells. If you have those checked, you're gonna have FPS issues. And I could tell right away what reviewers had checked that, because the moment you turn it on, I had a 2080 Ti that was at 28 FPS. It was ridiculous. It just smashes the shit out of it. So, which is fine because you can choose, right? I think that's fine. You can choose. If you're getting FPS hits, that happens in games. I still would have liked it to run better because I don't think it does enough to not. But
dude, can I ask you a question?
There were performance issues with the first one as well, right?
There were, yeah, and a lot of bugs. This one I did have one bug that stuck with me till the end of the game, which sucked. Donkey balls. What were you going to say, Johnny?
So about the real time, right? Because this reads to me like a Divinity Original Sin on steroids when it comes to the like crunching math and numbers.
No.
And like longer fights.
Yes, longer
No?
fights, but not crunching math. It's exactly the opposite.
Oh,
So Pathfinder looks inwards towards the character, and as the character builds, they can do special stuff out and about.
okay.
In Divinity, almost everybody can mix and match spells out and about. So it looks more towards, it's almost like just looking at it and saying, I can look at Divinity and go, this is Divinity because this spell creates smoke when you mix it with this spell.
Like
right?
there's poison on the floor, you can burn that poison, etc.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
more of the environment and the world causing you to do things. What happens in Pathfinder is it's the characters able to do unique things when they level up and get these multi-classes. It's a completely... The end result sometimes looks the same, sometimes, but I would say they feel
Right. So superficially look
pretty
similar,
dramatically different.
but
yeah.
different. And like the real time, how do you control what skills are being cast? Do you have like
You
almost
can
like
pause
an
it with the space
RTS
bar,
thing?
but otherwise it's like an RTS, yeah. Or League of Legends.
Or League of
the easiest
Legends
way
where
to-
you're controlling the different heroes and you can like queue actions, I imagine, and that's
And the HUD is just as terrible as the first one.
oh.
There's like buttons that luckily don't open unless you click them, but when you do, like clicking inventory is fine. But then you click the potions button, and everybody's got 5 potions, and then the cats and dogs can have potions. Cats and dogs can wear cloaks, and pretty soon you're like, my cat's got a cloak that does this plus a potion, which admittedly I like. But if anybody told me they didn't like Pathfinder because of all that, I would agree.
I started out with my starting animal, and it's already, you can level up your animal. It's like, okay,
And
choose
when you
the
get
skills.
when you get a mythic ability, which is the ability to, let's say, like in the real world, like in a TV show, you have your B level superheroes, and then you've got your A level, your S tier, like Superman. What happens in this game is you go from your street level superhero to your next level, and the game handles it fairly well. It takes your decisions and your alignments, and it says, here's a mythic path available to you. Here's this mythic, but when you get it, dude, the jump in power is hilarious. Like, it is hilarious. The only problem is it's one of the few games where I just almost didn't want to level because it takes so long. When it says level up, you're like, click, oh my God, here we go. And then now you're crunching numbers again. And you're like, all right, so that's a +5 for this, which is a 0.2.
And you
got to
remember what others have to see the
Mythic
synergies.
isn't even on the same level as the normal one. So you have your level up, your mythic level up, your animals level up. But guess what? You can make the animals mythic, which has them level up differently.
Wait, your animals also have like level ups and...
Oh, for sure. Your animals have... Yeah, your animals have full level ups and stuff. And this is not me talking bad about it. It's just you got to prep.
No, it
is a board game that was then in a video, that was then a D&D role-playing game known for its math. And now it's a video game where they can make the computer do some of the math, but it doesn't do a lot because Pathfinder doesn't want you to let the computer do it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would you let the computer do it if the entire game is about the player having the weirdest fucking superhero agency possible? And dude, it's weird. The stuff you can do is nuts. It's just, it takes a lot of input. It takes a lot. You got to be a pretty dedicated gamer to beat this game. You got to be a pretty dedicated gamer to play it, I think, because most reviews have stated
it seems like
complex
it's kind of made for like the min-max crowd.
It is. Oh yeah, for sure, Silver, for sure, yeah, for sure. Which people got mad at me because I did like sort of go not mini-max because I do want a little bit in dexterity, so that I can use this one item or whatever. And there were a lot of people who were like, well, technically, yours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, technically,
you have those guys in every RPG. Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, with the pinky up. Neck beard.
Even I mean that's one of the like annoying things with like the Dragon's Dogma community is that there are a lot of min-maxers in that community who will tell you.
I didn't even think about that.
Who will tell you that the only way to play like a magic archer is to play Strider level 1 to 10, and then level 10 to 200 you need to play sorcerer, and then you can play magic archer. In order to sort of maximize the character, which of course means you have to spend 190 levels playing a character you don't really want to play until you get to play the class that you actually want to play, which not something a lot of people are interested in. When in actual fact, it doesn't really matter how you build the character. You can still make it work just as long as you have fun.
Krell asked, is the game fun? And funny enough, he just mentioned like playing a game a character you don't want to play. That's not Pathfinder. Pathfinder is about, by the way, guys, this is a D&D game that causes DMs to have like support groups, because a player will come in and be like, I figured out that if I have fucking this thing, I can wear 2 cloaks or whatever. And the DM's like, wait, what? You got to open this arcane book and go, shit, man, I think that does work, right? So
yeah.
Yes, it's a blast. It's a blast. What I'm telling people is it's the same kind of blast that a person may get from an old World War II game without good graphics, except this one has amazing good graphics. It's got the Pillars of Eternity look. It's just that, and you can turn auto leveling on, but you wouldn't want to, because you would miss out on that moment when you realized some crazy thing can be done.
Yeah.
Between 2 characters. The only problem is you can only have 6 characters and there's more than 10. So that means if you do get 2 characters that are synergy, why would you want this other character who doesn't have that synergy? That does become an issue. And that is something that I don't know if any game with synergies cannot have that issue. But I found myself buying the same synergy for multiple characters, because I was like, I don't want to get into a battle where we're surrounding a dude and that synergy to not pop off, because that synergy may pop something else. It's weird. Like, you need a programming, like, it's awesome, but it's a blast. It's just a different kind of blast. Just be prepared.
So it sounds like it takes a lot of mental bandwidth to engage with it, though, right?
With the level stuff, not the quests or the story or except it's got the worst log known to man. Sorry, one last thing. This is like traveling Wilburys rhyming a log without remembering what quest they were on. They're like, dude, you'll be reading the quest.
We've seen some pretty horrible ones.
No. Bro, this one quest just is like, remember that thing you got a long time ago? Get another one. And you're like, what the fucking... I've collected like 10,000 things. What? I'm not lying. There's a name. It's like, I can't even remember the name, but it's like the Register of Ruin that you found a while ago. Get another one. And you're like, I don't remember where I got that, because this game is, over 100 hours long. Well, it's over 60 hours long, but it's a bad log. And sometimes it'll just be like, some stuff happened over here. The
wiki will see a lot of traffic.
The wiki will see. Fextra Life is probably loving this game, because the wiki will say, or I'm sorry, the log will say, what do you think? It'll ask you questions. And you're like, I don't go to the log to be asked questions, because the log either needs to be written from my character, right? Or allow me to edit it, or tell the story of what's occurring. It does none of that. It does all of it randomly. So one entry will be like, maybe you should wait around. And you're all right. And you've gone everywhere in the map, and you're all, wait around for what? Where do I go? And then another time it's like, you need to go and find this thing. What I didn't know was the thing I needed to find wasn't on the map. It wasn't even in the city map. It was inside the city map, inside another place. And the game doesn't take the future into account. It doesn't the log doesn't take those into account. I don't need the game to tell me where to go at all. But I need the game to say, like, maybe, I don't know, give you reflect what I'm doing, I guess. And sometimes that log doesn't. But I want to see what Reg says in a week. First of all, Reg has got a couple things. Is he playing it still? What difficulty? Because there's 8,000 difficulty setting. It's ridiculous. And then also that log, and like if you got stuck, because I got stuck a couple times.
Right.
For sure.
Well, I got next week off, so we'll see. Chances are good.
Oh, did you take it off for this game?
No. I have taken it off anyway.
I was like, damn, son, that's
dedication, right?
Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
Can I ask you a quick question? I'm super curious about this. If you're reviewing a game like Pathfinder, and the log is shit, and you can't figure out where to go for a quest, right? How the hell do you go about it? Because there ain't any guides by the time you're just fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked.
If you're lucky, you can like get in touch with someone from like the promotional department. Or
Sometimes.
Oh, maybe.
But one time I DM'd. I was telling Reg this. It was a Bard's Tale that had. I think there was a puzzle in Bard's Tale,
Yeah,
and I was like, "What the fuck?
I remember.
What's happening?" And instead of answering my question, because I was like, "Listen, I've been on this for 6 hours. It obviously is not occurring to me. You know, which happens. You know, sometimes you miss a turn off, right? Sometimes you miss a turn sign." And they're like, they did what this log does in this game. They're all, well, what if you attempt to blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, what?
Nice.
What the fuck are you doing? Just what is going on? But yeah, you don't have anybody to talk to. And bugs are difficult because a bug may break and you may not know it because you'll be the first to, you know, you may not know a log hasn't popped, which did happen to me. It was like, you need a key. And I spent about 4 hours running around a location. And it's like, you need a key. And I get up, inventory screen live, by the way. And thank you for the super chats, guys. I'll read them in a bit. You get up, inventory's live, nothing in the inventory section. I got this on video. I go to take a piss and get a Snickers. I come back, key is in my inventory. So it had lagged the item delivery, probably because so much was going on when I picked it up in the battle. And somehow it wasn't in my inventory for 4 hours. And it's like, you need a key. You need a key. This door's locked by a key, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing. And I killed everybody. And so I was doing that thing where you run into each room and you touch people, which is just creepy all by itself. You're like, hi, you got anything? Hi, you got anything? Hi, you got anything? And by walking away and letting it sit and not inputting into the game, right? That fixed it. That, and I talked about that in the review. That sucks. You don't want that. And I'm sure they know they'll patch it. Much less bugs than the prior game. That's for sure. Let's see.
It sounds a lot like a game that's going to benefit a lot from like the Steam ecosystem with the function of allowing people to like set up guides and stuff.
Oh, true that. Yeah.
For the Steam overlay.
True.
Yeah, true that.
Integrated into that.
Yeah. Why did Molotov get nuked out of here? Sorry, Molotov got nuked out of the chat, which is
I don't know. Maybe we have some strict like Autobot.
She said hi.
Oh, yeah.
Modding.
Well, I
no,
mean,
dude, it just that's all. Hey, sorry, Molotov. I have no clue.
It's a Molotov that said hi. That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look into that. Yeah. Sorry.
There's literally no rule for anything like emotes, multiple emotes, like 50. Sorry, Molotov. She'll be back. I apologize. She's just too cool. The chat was like, we want to focus on
we can't handle this right now.
What do we got for news? Let's jump into something.
This week,
exactly.
This week we had a few things. You mentioned the Cyberpunk thing. Is it a rumor or was it confirmed that it won't ship the next gen version this year?
It was confirmed that they don't know if they'll ship it this year, which is too bad.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man.
What is even the roadmap? Because they were talking about DLC. All that stuff is like it's Dream Zone now.
I mean, yeah, I don't get it, guys.
They barely got a patch out that like solves the zooming in the minimap. And
it deleted reflections on the roads. Did you guys see that? The patch deleted the reflect. Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
I wonder if they fixed like all the HUD bugs, because I mean I've never played a game with a buggier HUD than Cyberpunk. Like elements would get constantly stuck. Like you would look over a corpse and it would show you like the inventory of what the corpse would had on him, and then that inventory would get stuck on your screen, and it wouldn't go away. And that like those kinds of like small HUD pop-ups would just get stuck all the time. For me, anyway, on PC.
Yeah, I mean, it just had a lot of bugs, man, and it's like those bugs. Some of those bugs are still there, and then the lack of this what do you call it? This
next gen
versions. It's just like how long. I guess I just wonder how long people are going to wait, and if I don't even know if people really care about. I think the ship has sailed. Yeah.
I think the window's closed.
Hello guys, how are you? My name is Agit. I am
What about you, Reg?
Kurdistan,
It's
excited
gonna
for this?
take some
I'm a
pretty
fan
unique
of the
like
show.
content, like an expansion of some sort to get interest, to revitalize interest in that game.
Ignore that there was a little voice play in people. I was just adding a media file from one of the patrons who was nice enough to ask us a little question that we'll play in a second. Reg, are you going to do the next gen version of Cyberpunk?
No.
Not played at all?
I only played on PC, or tried to play it on PC, and it's been uninstalled for a long time. And I don't see it getting installed again.
Gotcha. Gaming Addict, what's up, guys? Thanks for the super chat. Welcome. Johnny, next gen?
Yeah, played it on PC, so I guess that's like next gen. Technically, I don't see any like update they can do.
And Silver, it sounds like you're not gonna return.
I mean, I beat the game. I completed every side quest in it. Like I don't see a lot of motivation to go back to it and I beat it on PC. So again, like the Xbox Series X version of it isn't going to be that much different.
Yeah, you shot your load too soon. I mean, it sounds gross, but it's like there's no way, there's no getting around it. That is what happened.
The only way is if an expansion it releases that has significant content or appeal. Like that could revitalize my interest. But
so you would
that's
need
a long
like
ways off.
Like a Cyberpunk style expansion, do you think? Or I'm sorry, not Cyberpunk, but No Man's Sky. Is that what you're?
I mean, if they make like an expansion, like say Blood and Wine for like that caliber for Cyberpunk, but like maybe like a setting separate from like Night City, where V goes or something, like that could be interesting. That could definitely reignite my interest. But
that's a big
as it is right now, I don't see that until at very least like a year out, if not more.
Chat, anybody in chat waiting on the next gen version? I guess that's the question. I haven't heard anybody ever say they were.
Yeah.
That, and I think that's where we're stuck. Is like we might be waiting for DLC, like Silver says. I certainly would replay it with DLC. I would, or not replay it, but I would certainly jump back in to
play the DLC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But that game, yeah, it's gone. I'd like, to me, it's not like No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky is a completely different style of game. And
yeah, I mean that game is meant that game is cyclical. Like it's meant to be
exactly
perpetually like played.
Yeah.
Like Cyberpunk has a very specific campaign with a beginning and an ending.
Yeah,
for
sure. I asked people who were listening to the podcast, who love the podcast, to, go ahead and record us some questions. The first one, I was going to do Nor's. We'll do Nor's in a second. But the first one is from somebody who, Middle East over there. I've always wondered about people who follow the channel who, like, don't speak English as their first language. I mean, Johnny, though, he does a good job. Like, he can listen. He doesn't, like, get confused by me. But I'm always, yeah. But, well, I've always wondered, like, how is that possible? But it looks like we've got at least one amazing fan in a far-off land. So I'm going to play the audio so you guys can hear it. We already know what he's going to ask. Once it's done playing, we'll answer his question. I'm still staring to see if it's going to play.
Hello guys, how are you? My name is Agit. I am from Kurdistan, Iraq. I'm a fan of the show. I've been listening and watching you for a long time. And my question is, what is your favorite game of the year so far? Hello guys, how are you? My name is Agit. I am from Kurdistan, Iraq. I'm a fan of the show. I've been listening and watching you for a long time. And my question is, what is your favorite game of the year so far? Hello guys, how are you?
All right. There we go. So he was asking what our favorite game of this year is. So we're in September. I normally don't do this, but anybody who is a fan of the channel that long and doesn't have English as their first language, we got to give them a shout out, man. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty crazy because I annoy me, let alone somebody who like is probably listening to me going, what the fuck is this guy even saying half the time? So what is, up until now, today, your favorite game that released this year? So it has to be a game that released this year.
Hitman 3.
Oh shit.
I mean, it's a tricky question because I mean there are so many games that they all sort of melt together. It all sort of melts together, and you kind of lose a sense of time. But yeah, I mean, it would probably be Hitman 3 for me. I really enjoyed that game. Sadly, like the post-launch content has been disappointing. I think there's a consensus among most Hitman fans that that's the case. But what was there at launch, I think, was so good that really, I mean, it was the perfect finish to that trilogy, A World of Assassination, that you could want. Like it had pretty much everything I wanted. So, yeah, Hitman 3.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer, Johnny.
Well, it's a very difficult one because
what's the
I have
worst
two big
Freudian
contenders and they're
slip
very,
you've
very
ever-
different games. I would say overall Ratchet and Clank, probably, if I had to pick one.
Okay.
Resident Evil Village is a close second, and I'm not a big Resident Evil fan, but that game for me was, the best one that I've played so far of that type, and just as a game was a lot of fun.
Reg?
Well, for me, I think the choice can only really be The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 4, which is the latest entry that released this year and was the conclusion of my month-long journey through all of them.
Right.
Let's see. And let's see some of the answers here. Psychonauts 2. It Takes Two.
Okay.
That's
Good
Persona 5 Strikers. That's an interesting one. Because I think a lot of people like that, but I don't know if that's pretty high up for that game. Abbreviated Reviews says probably Chivalry 2. Was Chivalry 2 released this year? Man, things are merging together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Returnal. Plague Souls says Returnal. Returnal was really high up there for sure. D.D. Anderson says Hitman 3. Molotov says Ratchet is a solid game. Surprised her. Let's see. Grandmaster said Johnny proved why Village is pretty poor. I don't know what that means.
I guess because I said I'm not a fan, and because the game differs from the classic ones, I guess hardcore fans maybe didn't like it.
The last one supposedly didn't either, and it was one of the best games I've played. Like Resident Evil.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
House.
Right? It's
Resident
one of
Evil
those.
House. What was that called? Resident Evil. What was the one prior to this?
Biohazard.
7.
7. Biohazard.
Was it just
is the
7?
subtitle.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was just
okay.
7. No.
It also says Biohazard.
Luminastrad
Yeah, but
says...
that is also like just I think a reference to the Japanese titles of the
Biohazard
games,
is the
which
Japanese
are Biohazard.
Lumistrad says Biomutant, Minecraft. Minecraft wasn't released this year. Knock it off. Kumar says definitely Returnal,
Yeah.
Chivalry 2, another one, Hades. Yeah, because technically Hades did. Yeah, I mean, obviously did release this year. I think it was released last year though for the Xbox, wasn't it? Or was it starting of this year as well? For
Well,
Hades?
it was on PC last year.
Was it PC?
It had
last
like a re-releasing, several.
PC and was it also on Switch last
That's
year?
what
or
I
was
feel.
that this year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
I think that was also this year on Switch.
I think you're right, Reg. I think it was like earlier in the year. Yeah.
Ooh, Facunda B. He's been around for a long time. The Ascent was great. He says Raoul says Hitman 3 and Ratchet. There's a lot of people who like Hades and Hitman 3.
Hades on the Switch was actually last year.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Gotcha.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like no sense of time anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. When you said Hitman 3, I was like, wait, that was last year. But no.
Yeah, that's what I would have said too. So the
Yeah.
ones that I mean, Hitman 3, obviously, now that I think about it, is awesome, but it didn't stick with me. So I guess, I don't know,
Right.
Yeah.
maybe that wouldn't be my answer. The Ascent was awesome, but it was buggy enough. I love the Ascent. I did a walk in the walk for it and all that stuff, but I don't necessarily think it was a game of the year. Man, maybe it was. Psychonauts 2. Yeah. Psychonauts 2 is Psychonauts 2 is ridiculous. Like Psychonauts 2, and people were mad at me because I guess they thought Ratchet. I think Ratchet and Psychonauts can definitely be compared in some places, but one is a shooter and then has some jumping. The other one is 99% jumping and platforming with some combat. They're in that genre, but they're at such opposite ends. Psychonauts just blew me away. I mean, that game, I really liked that game. Man, yeah, that game was. Yeah,
listening to people just talk in the rooms and going through that dialogue.
Yeah.
So
Abbreviated Reviews also says the Ascent is on the top list for this year currently. I think a lot of people feel that way. Luckily this year, well, not luckily, but sometimes I get bugs and sometimes I don't in games. The Ascent wasn't as buggy as I know it was for everybody else. And then, some people had a lot of bugs in the Ascent. So, well, Reg still hasn't played co-op in the Ascent, right? Or have you?
Correct. Yeah, no. My potential co-op partner has long since uninstalled and moved on.
All right, so here we've got a question from Nor, and then we'll be done with these. Another question that I'll run and play. These guys pretty much know what it is already, so we'll get this started. And I did start it one other time. Here we go.
What's the worst Freudian slip you've ever done during a review?
The best part about Nor is he doesn't say who he is. He doesn't. He did say Nor in the name.
Doesn't say he's a fan of the podcast,
doesn't
right?
say he's a fan of the podcast.
It's all right. It's an all right podcast.
He's like, this link was on Twitter, and I figured I'd say hi. But anyway, that's Nor. He's been a podcast subscriber, patron for years. Awesome guy. Asked a question. What's the worst Freudian slip in a review? So I don't know if there's a Freudian slip in reviews because I would leave them in. But I will tell you the most embarrassing Freudian slip I've made in real life. I usually do not, if I'm attracted to somebody or whatever, I just don't, whatever happens, it doesn't really, I don't get that verklempt. Like some people get really nervous and that kind of stuff, and I don't. But there's a girl at my work that, man, you know how some people, whoever you're attracted to, they're just it. And she was every bit of it I could possibly put into one person. And she was nice. We talked all the time. And I don't know how this happened, man. I don't know how this happened. And it wasn't true, but it came out anyway. We were talking and joking around. And, dude, in the middle of work, in front of 20 people, we were talking, we were joking around, flirting. She turns around and she says, "Okay, I'll talk to you later." And I'm like, "Okay, bye, love you." And there's damn. There's and it's business, it's highfalutin.
Awkward.
And she laughed it off. She just thought it was hilarious. But I'll tell you what, that was one of those times where I'm just yes, she did, Molotov, actually, wear knee socks. But anyway, as she walked away, I was just I was like,
knee
love
socks.
you. And she walked away, and I did that thing where I'm like, what the fuck? What?
Dude, it's how do you react to that, right?
I
do you
laughed
pretend
it off,
you
but
didn't
it was
say
embarrassing
it?
as hell. And I had 3 or 4 really embarrassing moments with her. For some reason, it was that thing where you just slip up or say something or do something. You're like, what is wrong with me, man? Shit's not your body ends 4 inches past you think it does on your fingers, so you knock shit off of desks. It's like everything. It's like you've duct taped paddles to your hands. You've lost all ability to control yourself. It was ridiculous, man. It was embarrassing. It was one of the few times where I did that thing where you'd think about it later and cringe. So I'd be driving and I'd think about it and go, ugh, and somebody be with me and they'd be like, "What?" And you're like, "Oh, nothing," But it doesn't bother me now. I know her, friends with her, she's cool. But yeah, that was probably the worst Freudian slip. Knee socks 1010 Plague Soul says, yes, for sure. It was crazy my style. Do you guys have any Freudian slips? It doesn't have to be something like that. But have you ever done a Freudian slip that's been really bad in front of family, in front of friends?
Probably, but the problem is I don't remember them because I think my memories just sort of erased them.
Yeah.
if there were any, I don't think it's because I haven't made any. I think it's more likely that my memory has erased them. Yeah, but I don't have any that like come to mind as like traumatic or anything.
Yeah, I think my brain erases them too.
I've had just many times where I slipped and I said a different word than the one I meant, but it was like some sexual word that made the whole sentence horrible. So I've had like a ton of those. I don't have like a single specific one, but that does happen for sure.
Well, and with slang the way it is, it's pretty easy to rack up a couple dozen wrong
Sometimes
words.
one letter, or you didn't pronounce it, and then it sounds.
Or when you grow, like as slang changes, old words become, we see it with PC culture, but it's not only that, it's just slang around sexual words. They can change.
Yeah.
Some words are acceptable, not acceptable, some change, some adjust, and you drop one. And now this new group you're with is like, wait, what did you say? And you're like, no, I didn't mean that. And then you have to go out of your way to explain it. Reg just doesn't answer. He's got none. Is that true? Or do you have any, Reg?
Oh, I probably got some, but I'm like silver. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you guys handle embarrassment well? Like when something like that happens, are you guys the guys who like you're like, fucking, you walk away? And
it doesn't faze me in the moment, but like you, I will think back on it and cringe very, very heavily on the embarrassment. But in the moment, it doesn't faze me at all. Like,
that's a good way to be, though. In the moment, I think I'm sort of that way, where in the moment I'm pretty good at putting the defenses up and being like,
right,
that was dumb.
Yeah.
And then maybe later when your defenses aren't there.
or playing it off or laughing it off if you mess up. Yeah. Playing it as a joke. Yeah.
Nothing's worse than the moment prior to going to bed, too. Right when your brain is getting ready to sleep, and a thought like that will jump in and be like, hey, I just want to remind you before you go off to Nana Land, this is the stupid shit you did. And you'll remember something from 3 years ago, and you'll sit up and be like, oh, what the why is that there? Yeah, man, I've had that. I've definitely had that where I'll be fine, and then it like sneaks in, and you're just like, how did this happen, man?
Reliving that.
Wait,
like
I have one, but
go for it.
It is enormously embarrassing. Like this was way back in the 90s. This was not really a Freudian slip. This was a chat error. Where I was
right.
Oh, no.
Well, I got those. Yeah.
There was a woman and I who were sexting things in chat, and I accidentally hit one into public chat. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
I was like 18 or something at the time. Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Well, I mean, if we're
that
going
scarred
to
me pretty heavily. Yeah.
With the amount of chat we have, like I can, I get it. I get how that can happen.
Oh,
and you click on one Discord or whatever.
You
I don't
quickly
use Discord for that, but
yeah, you quickly get the wrong window.
yeah. You need. That's why sometimes you need that warning. That's like, are you sure this was for this chat?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I mean that it's because like I think the PMs were running on like the same thing in like kind of like the same window almost as the public chat, and that's how it happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Ouch. Luckily that. There was one time where a friend of mine was bothering the hell out of me at work, and we've learned that text-wise, he's in our.
I just logged out and never looked back.
Yeah, right. He's in our patron. It's Denovan in our patron, and him and I have learned that we don't talk well in text ever. Like you can't even say hello without me angry at him. I don't know what it is, but the way he responds in text, I despise. I hate it. And we had to work together, and it was almost all text. And this one time, man, I was just like, and he would find one little thing and be like, what about this? What about this? Like the little fucking stepchild, man. And finally, I was like, I wish you'd just knock it off. And instead of talking to my wife, I was talking to him.
Oh,
sorry, man. He was cool about
right.
it, though. I mean, that shit happens between friends. It's so weird how people communicate differently, though. Between text and verbal, you'll get somebody in text who some people I just can't, or verbally they're fine, and then you jump into text and you can't understand,
right?
Like it's always off. But girl at work told me about how she gets messy while cooking. Oh, you deleted it. You deleted that, Or somebody deleted it.
Well,
Oh,
or the
Nightbot.
bots deleted it again.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Girl at work told me about how she gets messy while cooking. Meant to tell her she should wear an apron. Brain blurted out, you shouldn't wear any clothes while cooking instead. Yeah, exactly. Like you'll
Okay,
have
that's
those.
a different sentence structure, my dude.
That admittedly,
okay?
that admittedly is a whole other.
That's a
group
little
of words.
suspicious.
That's a little, yeah. That's a little bit like I accidentally said we could date.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's a
Oh,
lot
I'm
being
just
to add.
kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just joking, but I'm not. If you're not, but I am. If you aren't, and you're just like, dude, that's not going to work. What else we got for subjects? We did Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
people
we got
wanted
a
us to
few
talk about
others, actually.
Yeah, there was something.
Well, there's Horizon, right? So Horizon Forbidden West
yeah.
is actually a couple things potentially. You had something here where you said, let me go back to, I don't want to mangle what you
Well, it's
put
just,
in chat.
I can say it. It's just Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West did that thing where they do the non-physical disc, but they give you a physical steel case. And that's and then they also stated in interviews in the past that we would for sure this game would be a free upgrade, and then they said there is no free upgrade. And that
Yes.
Beaner8127 says Freudian shit. I sharded with headphones on while winking at my crush and walking late into class. I turned and ran and then dropped the class. That's probably the best bet, bro. That's probably the best bet. Michelle says, I told my plumber when he knocked, you're here to lay pipe. This means something else entirely. Oh, yeah,
Come on,
it
girl.
means that. It means that
Yes.
here, too. So what do you guys think about this Horizon? Does anybody care? I did a post, a poll, and people weren't as bothered by it. That could just be the people watching the stream. But there weren't people bothered by it. I was a little bothered because they called it out as not being a paid for, and then it is. And then you guys know me.
It's only like in the more expensive versions, not in the standard version. With the
Yeah.
standard version, you can just fuck off.
Yeah, so if you buy it on PS4 for full price, you still can't play it on PS5. You can't get the PS5 version if you want it later, unless you bought the more expensive edition that explicitly contains PS4 and PS5. Right? So someone right now with a PS4 looking to get a PS5 in the future, they are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You know, hey, do I future-proof and have to shill the extra dollars for the more expensive edition just for future-proof, or what?
I mean, it just, I don't know if anybody has anything to add. It just sucks.
I just looked. It's the digital deluxe edition that has PS4 and PS5, which costs 90 euros or 110 US.
So basically, you are buying both already. I mean, well, it does come with, I guess, does that one come with anything, Reg? Physical?
It
No.
comes with the digital soundtrack and art book, a digital comic, some in-game currency and stuff.
Bro.
So the usual digital collector's edition fluff.
In-game currency.
Well, the in-game resource pack. Not currency.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It can't even come with dynamic themes because guess what? The PS5 doesn't support them yet.
True.
I'm slightly angry at that. I can't have my Tifa dynamic theme.
Microsoft teased Sony right away. That was announced, and the first thing they put was like, smart delivery just works, blah, blah. We get it. We get it. That's the way, that is the way to shoot. And I'm sure Sony would do the same thing if this was Microsoft. But man, Sony really, they like screwed the pooch on this, on all of their upgrading stuff. The stuff about like some games only being PS5, and then we found out they're for sure not only PS5, and you're just like,
and the system to get your save across.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I mean,
what are we doing, guys?
It's
the
the entire...
finally the what was it? Tsushima finally had the first sane system for that.
It did. It was pretty sane. Yeah, you uploaded to the cloud, right? And
yeah,
then...
you go in the PS5 version. You don't even need to install the PS4 version. You just install the PS5 version. Say import save from PS4 version. Done.
Right, because it should be trivial, and there's a
yes,
it's a solved problem.
For some reason, this is the first game that actually managed to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Silver? I think I talked over the top of you.
Just that it's I mean, it's Sony's like entire ecosystem of that, like of their entire platform, really going back to like the PlayStation 3, right? I mean, it's like the way they carry over it, and I say that also because it has so many shades of Nintendo on it. Where Nintendo, it's really kind of the same thing between the different platforms. Like when you move from like a 2DS to like a 3DS, and like upgrading between that is also a huge hassle. You can only have one of these at one platform per account. Like it's just a mess, especially compared with like when you then compare it to like a more open platform like the Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, it just sucks. I don't really have anything to add about it. It's just...
I'm also still waiting for the PS5 firmware to finally go public for the storage expansion, because that still didn't happen.
And I mean, even if they are going to do that, you would think that they would put out some kind of statement or something that addresses the change in policy, right? So that they don't just make the switch and then go, oh, I hope nobody notices.
Yeah.
because this is the internet era. People are going to notice.
Yeah, and I want this game to do good.
Like people don't forget anymore.
I love
Nothing gets
Horizon
forgiven.
Zero Dawn. I think it's awesome. I want to see success for it. So I mean, just like that's one of my favorite games, in the last like decade. So I certainly want to see them do well. But Sony, and this isn't Guerrilla. I mean, it may be, but Sony put the infrastructure together for save games, put the infrastructure together for all this. And so you do, I guess you could say possibly there's some responsibility on both of their shoulders. But overall, I'm just not happy with almost any time there's any kind of dual version of anything or whatever. It almost seems like Sony consistently drops the ball on it. And gamer pays for it. Another thing somebody said is, oh man, if you have the PS5, you just get this. And it's like, well, a lot of people don't have that PS5. They can't even get that if they want it. So it's like, no matter what, you just sort of are, it's almost like they know. They're like, haha, you can't get a PS5, so we're going to make you buy the PS4 version and then also buy the PS5 version because we know that someday you'll get a PS5. And it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just sort of cagey.
I feel like you should never be at a disadvantage, or like it should never come at a cost to you, the fact that you upgraded to the next console.
Yeah.
I didn't explain that very well, but if you get a PS5, it shouldn't cost you, to have to upgrade your games that you already own. In my view, it seems.
Do you guys also
backward.
think this might be all connected to Sony trying to push the price of games up too, and that's where they're having a lot of these issues?
Yeah, that is the same with Horizon. It's 60 on PS4 and 70 on PS5.
Yeah, it's almost like they want to push, they're willing to take this bad press or whatever so that they can continue to push this policy of raising the price, where some have raised the price. Admittedly, we do know that a couple companies have raised prices, but I would say the majority have not raised their prices. And so Sony just keeps pushing this extra, and that then runs into a situation when you are trying to say this is an ecosystem, and you're like, not really, because it is a totally different price on this one thing than it is over here. I mean, you don't see PC games doing that, and they have 1,000 generations. So
oh god, yeah, imagine.
If I had to pay extra for ray tracing, do you think I wouldn't be on this podcast beyond belief bitching? I would kill somebody. Yeah. And by the way, that is not unknown. We have had situations.
The paid for VR upgrades, for example.
Paid for VR upgrades, yeah. G4 or not G-Sync, requires hardware versus software. And I was bitching about that since day one. I'm like, software, we already know the software versions can basically come to parity or very close. Why are we doing these kind of things? Yeah, it sucks, man. It really does suck. And it's not the first time, but that's not a defense. Like somebody told me about that. They were like, it's not the first time. And I'm like, if somebody punched you once, at some point you have to duck the next time. Like, we're now getting to the point to where we're just standing there being like, okay, I guess this is love, and the person just keeps beating me. Vinium Inu, Vid, whatever your name is, I apologize. Vininin says, State of Decay 2 got a new update yesterday, can carry more ammo per stack, plus perks, new map, weapons, and stuff. I know what I'm doing this weekend. That is an awesome idea. Awesome idea. I think Delrith DM'd me and wanted to do some State of Decay 2 as well. We should probably stream that. But yeah.
Oh, cool.
State of Decay,
great.
State of Decay 2's got the brand new, what is it, Turnbull? Is that the old city? But the original city, whatever its name is, they've added that. So very cool. Sim Player says they're going to keep pushing up the price until it gets to the point where a lot of people stop buying AAA games because they can't afford it, or they will wait for years. It's possible. I don't know if it's probable with Sony's third person stuff, because people bought Days Gone day one, and that was a buggy mess. What else do we got for news? Actually, let's go with indie and free games, and then we'll jump back into news. What do we got for indie, Silver?
We have a game called Tormented Souls, and
sounds like a happy game. Let's do it.
Yeah, much like Pathfinder, it's a game that's catering to a very specific audience. It's catering to people who grew up in the 90s, who played the original Resident Evil games, the original survival horror games, Silent Hill.
Ooh, gotcha.
It is it's a survival horror game. It makes use of Resident Evil like inventory system, with all the
puzzle working of it almost. Yeah.
Yes. That follow that. It uses camera work in a very similar way, though it does move the camera with your character at times also, and it also uses still camera at other times. It looks and feels a lot like the Resident Evil remake, the HD remake, high definition remake.
Awesome.
Which is my favorite Resident Evil game. So that already hits a really, really nice spot for me. The graphics are really, really solid. It's lighting. It looks really, really beautiful. It's a game I really recommend people take a look at. You play as a woman who is investigating two twins disappearing, and
they're bad guys.
At this mysterious mansion.
Sorry, twins are always bad guys.
Something happens and you wake up naked in a bathtub with a giant tube stuck in your mouth. And
like
you have
Saturday,
to make your way
man.
out.
This sounds perfect. This is going to be that's everybody's normal Saturday. How much is this game?
It is. Let me just check. It is $20.
$20. Okay. So you start up naked with a tube in your mouth or in your rectum. Which one? What'd you say? No, your mouth.
In your
right?
mouth. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. That would be a different game. And
Big
okay,
difference.
so continue. I interrupted you. So you start out in a tub naked with a tube in your mouth.
Yeah. And then you have to sort of make your way around the mansion and investigate and solve puzzles and fight enemies and whatnot. Like there are some really interesting enemy designs. Like there are some enemies that are like in wheelchairs, and somehow they know how to get upstairs on the wheelchairs all the same. Can chase you. Like they have these giant claws. They look pretty nifty.
Is it like when they go up the stairs, are they using the thing that slowly raises them up? Because that wouldn't be very tense.
No,
you were standing watching them going.
No, the wheelchair raises up the stairs. Yeah.
Does it? Oh, that's actually sort of frightening. Okay, gotcha. Continue.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's old school. It's basically it plays like old school Resident Evil, for better or worse. Like has all the foibles. It has the same save system with the instead of ink ribbons, you collect tapes for like a tape recorder that you then put in to save your game. There's no autosave system, so you need to be careful. It does add tension to the game. And yeah, it's Resident Evil, old school, for people who grew up with playing survival horror games in the 90s and with very pretty graphics, I think.
Awesome. Who's this made by? A company that's done other stuff, or?
It is made by Jewel Effect and Abstract Digital.
Haven't heard of them. Very cool. So $20, check it out. I would play that. I also liked Alone in the Dark. Not the newest one I wasn't a big fan of, but the older Alone in the Darks that played a little bit like Resident Evil. Those were very fun. There was a Dreamcast one that was really good. Any of those older ones are cool. What about you, Reg? What do we got for free games? Free games, not free games.
Exactly. Free games is shortlist like usual. It's on the Epic Games Store, Yoku's Island Express. And that's it. So for the not so free games, say subscription games, PlayStation Now is getting the remastered version of Final Fantasy VII next week. So September 7th. Then on PlayStation Plus, we're getting Hitman 2, Overcooked All You Can Eat, and Predator Hunting Grounds. Overcooked is only for PS5, and that's also September 7th. Prime Gaming, I think I already read last week, but let's do it again, is getting Candleman The Complete Journey, Knockout City, Puzzle Agent, Sam & Max Hit the Road, Secret Files 2, Puritas Cordis, Tools Up, and Unmemory. Stadia Pro has Darksiders 2, Little Big Workshop, and Wave Break. Xbox Games with Gold is Warhammer Chaos Bane and Zone of the Enders HD Collection. On Xbox Game Pass, we have Craftopia for Xbox and PC, Final Fantasy 13 for Xbox and PC, Signs of the Sojourner for Xbox and PC, Surgeon Simulator 2, Access All Areas for Xbox and I think also for PC. And that's it with the new stuff.
Surgeon Simulator's called Access All Areas.
Bro, I was gonna bring that up.
Okay,
I mean,
because that means
come on, guys.
That's dirty. Backdoor access is that one's free. I would suggest everybody play that one.
Yeah.
I would just in case, because you make sure your family's not watching. Any of those really entice you guys? I didn't hear a lot on those lists that made me sit up and beg for buttermilk that I can think of.
Craftopia I've already seen on Steam, and that had some weird looking screenshots that are at least enticing enough to at least fire it up once.
Gotcha.
So that would be one to just try out.
Gotcha.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Well, not a remake.
Oh.
Remaster.
Remaster, not remake.
Very important difference. It's the remaster of the original, not the remake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Not nearly as exciting. Not nearly as exciting.
Exactly.
What about you, Silver? Any of those interest you at all?
I was following the chat, so I didn't hear the entire list. Sorry.
Abbreviated
Fair.
Reviews says Candleman's pretty fun. I think Candleman, I heard somebody else saying that was actually very good as well. I haven't checked it out. It's just these lists, man. Like, sometimes they're stellar and you're almost surprised, and then other times you're like, there's nothing on there. You
Those
almost
are
wish
some
they would
games.
stretch them out. Yeah, those are some games. Those are definitely games,
Yeah.
And I admit that I don't want to get into, devs, they decide different things, all that stuff, so you never quite know when they're releasing these. But sometimes you get a list, you'd be like, man, this would be a perfect time, right? This would be a perfect time.
Overcooked, for example, is pretty fun if you can find others to play with.
Is that one or two? Because isn't Overcooked already
that's
on the
the complete collection. Like, all you can eat is all of them.
Mm.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and they're both excellent.
Yeah.
And I think in this version, you also have the first one, which was only couch co-op, but it has online play now as well.
I got a DM that I missed a super chat. I don't think I did. I think I got it. I did. I got it. And thank you for doing that. Those lists and all of these things, Games with Gold always comes up as like questionable. Some of these come up as questionable.
Games with Gold is always,
Yeah, Games with Gold is always questionable. I mean, sometimes though, man, sometimes you'll be reading that list and I'll be like, holy shit, that's such a deal. Like, it's unbelievable. I have been interested to see the occasional tweet or something where somebody's like, this game is leaving Xbox Game Pass or blah, 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 and been surprised. I mean, that's their prerogative to leave, and it should. That's completely fine. But there have been a couple big ones and I got a notice, which I was very happy to see. By the way, any company should do this. Xbox stated, you might want to play this because it's leaving. I got a notice and I was like, that's smart business-wise, but also as a fan, that is not a time where I go, that's just PR. They're just trying to get me to play it. I was actually genuinely happy.
Useful.
That is useful. Yeah. It is very, very useful to be told that this game may be leaving because you could test it, you could look at it. I didn't get, you may want to play it if I had played the game either. So it wasn't like, hey, you may want to play it, it's leaving, go buy it. It was, these were games I had not played. And it was like, you might want to try this. You might want, now I don't know if it also does that, but I was not getting that warning on games I was playing. I was and one that did leave. I was getting on games I had not played and that were leaving. And I find that to be, I mean, that's just pro gaming. Like there's no downside to that. Abbreviated Reviews says, I actually requested that feature back when Game Pass for PC launched. And then Facunda says, Watch Dogs Legion is free. Hey, listen, after all the patches, I've enjoyed the hell out of Watch Dogs Legion. So I say it's well worth checking out for free, but, you know.
Free weekend, I guess? Or what?
Yeah, free weekend. You know, that's what's cool about Ubisoft. One, because we have we'll talk about Far Cry next, but they don't do a lot of cool stuff, but that is one cool thing. Just be like, hey, here's one of our premier games.
Yes.
Legion's premiere. Okay, we can.
Oh yeah, free weekend.
You get my drift. Yeah. Let's talk about Far Cry 6 real quick. So many of us were asked to do previews. I've stated very clearly that the online is not great for me with Ubisoft. I don't know if they're using servers made of paper fucking mache or what. Those things say their ping is great, and then you start playing their game, and it just doesn't work. And I've tried a couple and not been super happy. So I was like, I'm not going to do Far Cry 6 because it's a shooter. And my belief is, what am I going to say? Like, because this is weird. Bear with me here, people. They're having you preview a game and add a feature that will not exist, which is remote play, if you get my drift. So, like, it would be adding something in that it would just screw everything up. I wouldn't know exactly how everything was going to work. So I did pass up on it. And we got a lot of previews, a lot of people saying that it was Far Cry 6, right? That it's more Far Cry, which I would hope that is what it is. But then Kotaku released an amazing article, just riveting writing, that basically stated, you guys all previewed it wrong because you didn't preview it exactly like we want you to preview it, which was to basically bitch about Ubisoft and all their business stuff. And this has come up multiple times where it's like, and so Kotaku was like, you guys aren't good. And if you're going to preview, this was the title of this fucking article, man. If you're going to preview it, at least do it right. Right? Now, technically, I can say a game's supposed to be 60 FPS, and if somebody's playing a game on a monitor that only runs 30, technically I could say that's really not a good representation because the game is actually, like, it's set at something else. This was just like, you don't have the same belief as we do, so therefore you did it wrong. They got a lot of shit. But we're looking down the barrel once again of, like, Ubisoft releasing into, I mean, it's a game about Cuba. That's not Cuba, but it is, right?
Yes.
It's about a dad mistreating his father. It's as political as you get. Then Ubisoft says we don't do political, which, you know, we've already talked about that.
This one they did, right?
Well, they did. Yeah, sorry. I apologize. Yeah, in the past they did. I just feel like I will diss on something if I don't like coverage or whatever, but I don't know somebody else's ideals or beliefs and what they agree with, and also innocent until proven guilty, which I don't believe in this case. Obviously, I think we already know there's definitely guilty there. But what I'm saying is we don't know where the levels are, and they were basically saying if you talk bad about Blizzard, you have to talk bad about Ubisoft, and you have to treat them the same. And I agree in a way, but at the same time, I also agree that at what point are we pushing all these weird things onto a product and then stating, now we want you to diss on it, where there's a lot of people who worked on it that aren't the problem. And I don't want line art developer number 77 who made a fucking arrow for the bow in Far Cry to get a bad review or bad coverage. I don't know. I've talked about this. I think it's for podcasts like us. This is where we could talk about it. But in a review of a product, it's a little bit different. Hunter says, keep up the good work, ACG and friends. Peace. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat. What do you guys think? I'll shut up. What do you guys think about all this? Do you care? Do you not care?
I think it's silly. Because if you try to say, if you do this, then you also have to put the same measure into the other product. then try to take it to the logical conclusion. You can't possibly review anything positively anymore.
Right.
Because in every single company, some shithead will be doing something
yeah,
silly.
true. Some shithead will ruin it for everybody.
And yeah, I mean, on the same measure, for example, we shit on Life is Strange 2 plenty because we do not agree that the writing is very natural.
Right.
But that's our own impression. I don't think any of us is saying if you enjoy the game, then you're an idiot, which kind of is
wrong.
what the Kotaku article is doing.
Yeah, that succinctly puts it together. That is exactly what occurred.
I
Silver,
think that's
Johnny?
the biggest.
Johnny, go ahead.
That's the biggest problem. It's telling others how they should do their jobs or many times their hobbies. Like some dude out there doing a preview, right? And you're telling them that they should care about the same things that you care about, and that they should manifest it in the same way that you do. And if they don't, they're the enemy in some.
Yeah. Silver? Oh, no, Johnny's still talking. Sorry, Johnny, you cut out a little bit for me.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah.
It's like at a loss for words because
there you go.
it's silly.
Sorry, you cut out just for a second, Johnny. Silver, go ahead while we'll wait for his internet to clear up.
I mean, I appreciate bringing this stuff up, but I'm not really fond of purity tests in that way. Never really have been. Like the idea of like the no true Scotsman fallacy that you're not a proper reviewer if you don't like abide by this exact dogma or whatever. I think you can definitely, like I said, you can definitely bring these things up in a review if you bring them up in context, and why it's relevant to bring it up as part of the review. If you feel like if it's something that you feel like colors your perception and experience of the game, then it's relevant to the review. For my part, but I don't think it's something that necessarily has to be there if it's not relevant for that reviewer in question. Yeah, I mean, I personally, I'm probably not going to play Far Cry 6 at least for a while. Not because of like a moral decision in regards to Ubisoft, but because right now, as my situation is in terms of like politics and the real world, I would be deeply uncomfortable playing Far Cry 6.
That's fair.
Where I would much rather play like Dragon's Dogma or Pathfinder or something else that wouldn't make me feel that uncomfortable politically for those reasons. So I probably won't be playing it at launch. I may be playing it later on, but that's just my part, and that's just my perspective on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would agree. I don't have much to add other than it is weird because I'll have people say stuff like, Karak, you shouldn't cuss or you shouldn't joke or you should do this exactly like somebody else. And I'm like, dude, right. I can go back and look and see your comment where you said you're one of the only people I trust because you're independent. And it's like, you're only as independent as you can be until we stamp you the fuck out. So you're like everybody else.
Yeah.
That is truly the way it is. And people always get on me. I've had people be like, oh, the reason why this review didn't do well is because you had 2.3 extra jokes or whatever. And I'm like, maybe, but guess what? That wouldn't have affected reviews because here's the problem. You have to listen to it to get to that joke. The views are affected prior to that.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you say that, people usually run off because logic. You're just like, dude, that's
Data.
how fucking numbers work. Yeah.
Yeah,
you dumbass. But the thing is we stamp out individuality the moment it becomes the moment it gets to a certain point. People, I don't want to say all because I certainly don't. There's some things I do like, some things I don't about people doing particular things. But with this and pushing that onto people, I've always stated like the reviews, I'll review the product, and then in podcasts, I do think it's worthwhile talking about like, oh, what's happening here, what's happening there. But additionally, 1,000. There's a reason why we don't do civil justice where all of us get to vote with a thumbs up, thumbs down vote. And if somebody gets killed, if somebody did something wrong, because it'd be fucking anarchy, man. Because at this company, if you fired all the head people, still people wouldn't be happy. Somebody out there, and everybody will be like, well, my voice matters. Not really. Not unless it's an informed voice. If it's just a blathering crowd voice, it doesn't. But at the same time, you do get these people who want to control it all, probably for a positive reason. They want these things checked, which I think we all do. I mean, you have to be a pretty shithead person. And I don't surround myself with shithead people. You guys do, because you're on here. But I don't. Surround yourself with people better than you. That's the plan. That's what you should always do. But seriously, when you look at this kind of stuff, I get it. But at the same time, fuck you, man. Like, that's just, that's raw, because you're telling people, I'm not even going to tell you how you exactly should do it or give you a metric. You just didn't meet it. I mean, that's like a girlfriend or boyfriend where you come home and you did something wrong. You don't even know what it is, but you're in trouble. And you're like, huh, what? That's a bad fucking relationship, man. And admittedly, people will be like, well, that's good talk, blah, blah, blah. I don't care, because they do have a voice. They did it, so we can talk about it, just like people can bitch about my reviews. But fuck you, man. Like, fuck. If somebody wanted to say, you're playing it online, that game will not be online, so therefore it's a weird way to cover a preview, I would have never said a word. I would have been like, okay, that's a legitimate, like, we're in a weird time where we can't go to somebody's house and play their game. So we are in a weird time. I get the complaint, but this is just stupid, man. You're just like, you don't feel the same way as me, and therefore you did it all wrong.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I haven't read the article in question, but it does just sound like the typical purity test bullshit. I mean, it's unfortunately something that I come across more often than I would like, because I am politically left, and it's pretty prevalent on sort of my side of the political spectrum, where there is a sense that, I mean, I'm a Marxist, and I have compatriots who will say Gregory is a class traitor because he bought a house. Like, that is.
Oh yeah, the black and white thing where it just jumps to one extreme. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
and that sort of purity test, I think, is completely counterintuitive and counterproductive, and doesn't look at the reality of how people live and live their lives.
Yeah, it's aggressively ignorant. It's on purpose.
Their perspectives. Yeah.
It's purposefully ignorant,
Exactly.
which I hate. And like, I know some people. I don't have a huge Twitter following. I got like 40,000, but it's not huge. It's not as big as it could be, because if I do find somebody like lying or being, I'll just be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, shut. And I know I've had people be like, I can't really follow you because you tell people to shut up. And I'm like, but seriously, did you read it? Like, how are we doing one purity test over here and not over here? How does somebody not see that and say, there's no chance that that's adding to the conversation at all? And you're somebody bitching over here. I do want to read. Solo Sword says, Jim Ryan must have got moonwalking instructions from Michael Jackson because he's always walking his statements backwards. I'm assuming that's the writer of this. I don't usually go after the writer themselves, because Kotaku's the brand. We'll go, like, it may be the writer. I don't know. I don't track that. But I did see the article. I did not look at the writer, unfortunately. One of the reasons why is because I think we'll also always piss somebody off. So I may like this person. So instead, I'll just bitch about the fact that it's up there. It was dumb versus going after the person. I mean, I'll go after a person, Randy Pitchford kind of stuff. But I mean, I think most of us would at some point. Yeah. I just don't even hate him. It's just some of the decisions you see, and he's the one saying, I'm the one making them. So it's like, okay, well, that's different. I don't know, man. It's weird. We're in a weird state right now with, I mean, people will call something a review. It's obviously not. They'll attack other people's stuff, obviously, in a really stupid way of doing it. And I don't know. I guess that's where we are. I don't know any other way to fix it. There's no, like, how do you fix that? Kotaku's big enough. They're bigger than me. Like, there's no way to fix it. They're not watching the podcast. You can probably reach out to these people, but I assume they're jackasses. Right?
Likely. Yeah.
Well, I think, they're getting backlash. So that may luckily,
dude, what does backlash
or hopefully,
do, though, Johnny? It digs them in, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's gotta send a signal.
So many haters out there.
No,
we have
that
to fight
means
them
I'm
even
right.
harder.
That's what I hate.
Yeah, exactly.
That means I'm right. And Johnny, is what I'm saying is backlash usually makes a person say that means I'm right, because look at me, I'm getting backlash. Sorry.
Like they double down.
Yeah. I apologize. Absolutely. That wasn't fair to you.
They're more like they're probably more like look at how many people still have that wrong belief, so we have to fight even harder.
Yeah. I apologize, Johnny. Continue.
No, that's you're right. I think people do double down a lot of times, and they don't get the signal of what you did was stupid. They get the signal that we're opposing this because we're the enemy, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we all do stuff wrong too, but that's a lot of writing. We were joking about saying the wrong word. That's one thing, having a Freudian slip, but that's a Freudian article, right? Do you get what I mean, though? It takes, and that's one thing you'll hear me say a lot of times in reviews or walking the walks. I'll be like, it's not that somebody said it, it's that multiple people allowed it to be said, and nobody looked and was like, is this what we want? And I get it. A lot of editors will be like, the writer wants that. This is their thought piece. You'll see it even. Blah, blah, blah does not represent the views of everybody, blah, 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 right? We definitely see that. And I think that that's a good way of putting things. I can't do that because it's just me, but I don't know, man. It sucks. It sucks because
you can still try it. It's like, what I say doesn't reflect my opinions.
Yeah. I'm going to do that at the starting of the next review. I'm going to be like, hello, this is Karak. What I say does not necessarily reflect the opinions of ACG or Angry Centaur Gaming.
Necessarily.
Exactly.
The crucial word.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. We're in a weird spot for game discussion because there's so many games, so much discussion, so many things wrong. That's why I'll get negative, but like even in the Discord, I'll be like, what games are people liking? Because I know it's not going to bring as many people, who might jump into a YouTube or a patron. Because I've even known that as I adjust what I say in patron, even on the first page, you'll get more or less people subscribing to your patron. So like if you're out of the box and you're like, I'm here standing up, which some of that stuff I do have in my patron, but I've sort of like, written a little bit more professionally as I've looked at it and been like, man, you sound like a jackass. But it is true that the more you freak out, the more it does pay off. I think right now, though, we're also getting a pushback because I did see, I don't think that person probably felt the pushback, but I did see a lot of people on Twitter who were in the industry being like, dude, that was just uncalled for. Which I thought was I remember, you guys know I like Ryan McCafferty a lot. I think he's a very good writer for IGN. I think he's one of the, he does great interviews. And he stated, I don't like to talk negatively about other institutions in gaming, blah, 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 but today's is really a hard day not to. And it was a response to that. And I like that. It's like, we're going to sort of point at you, but not at the same time. But it seemed like a lot of people were sort of anti that. Maybe we'll get to that point. Then it'll be too soft, right? Then we'll be just letting everything happen. We'll be like, oh, I'm not going to bitch about anything. Everybody's free to do everything. We don't need to show, or we only need to show up to soccer games. We'll get our, participation award, which I also disagree with. What am I? I'm not left. I'm not right. What do we got for different?
Don't focus too much on putting.
Somebody probably get pissed and they tweet it, they clip it, and be like, Karak has found out he's communist.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't
America.
it?
Oh no,
dude. That I know. That I know. I have seen that where I've been like, whoa, somebody just got their ass handed to them on that.
Oh yeah.
What else we got?
So we got some gameplay from Midnight Suns, right? And I didn't realize this is a Firaxis game. So the guys behind XCOM 2, and apparently it's like a deck game, a deck building card game.
It's something.
I mean, I love it. However, not really what I was kind of hoping for.
Dude, I was on DLC telling Jeff Kanata, I'm like, man, Firaxis is one of the few companies that when they say that they're making a game, I don't know why I switched into Kermit, but I was man, for sure, when they say this, I'm going to be behind them. I trust them. And then I saw it and I was like, that's a mobile game. And I don't mean graphically. I mean, the gameplay elements were very, very not enticing for what I saw. Griffin's Gaming Guide says, Karak, man, you're straight down the middle and we love you for it. Yeah, so do cars. So what do you guys think, though, of this? Did you see the footage? You love it? Hate it?
Did not see it.
You might want to look at it, Reg.
I saw one trailer. And yeah, it just looked like Far Cry.
Okay.
No, not Far Cry. We're talking about Midnight
sorry.
Suns.
Sorry, I completely blanked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, Johnny. Anything to add?
Oof. I don't know. It caught me off guard. It was one of those combo breakers where I was like excited, and then as the video progresses, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Still probably dope, but
I mean, Firaxis is XCOM.
There we go. There are the cards. All right.
Civilization.
XCOM Civilization, yeah.
Whatever.
It's Sid Meier.
Right. Thank you. Whatever we saw, it just looked really mobile. And there's various ways of saying that. A lot of times where there's just cards in the center and then a Gaussian blur, like they used GIMP or Photoshop to make a blur on the back, and you get 3 cards and you choose which one. And then they said there's no customizables, only character suits. We're going to talk about that in a second, because in a game like this, the suits are going to be one of the major things, and I really think we need to start looking at this. It doesn't have microtransactions except for the one thing that you would really want to have in the game. And that sort of bothers me a little bit, but I don't know. What did you guys like? Did you see anything you did like, Johnny?
yeah, I mean, I like the idea overall. It's just one of those. It's not really what I wished they were making, but
Right.
it could still be fun, and I'm probably still down for it. I mean,
Because we're all
Firaxis,
XCOM fans, right?
yeah.
I mean,
Exactly, like XCOM 2, like War of the Chosen is some of the best shit I've ever played, so I give them a little leeway for sure.
Morris says, not digging the cards. I hope it turns out okay. So do I. I'm certainly not saying I want it to turn out. I'm not saying I want it to turn out bad. I sat on that podcast with Jeff and I went off for like 5 minutes that it was for Axis. I was like, oh man, that's why you don't get excited. That's why crush your excitement. Like a 1960s housewife, come home, hold in your emotion, don't get excited about life, because if you do, this is going to happen. And you see something and then you have to like reverse it and be like, oh, I don't know. We'll see. Card battles. We've seen that on Netmarble. Netmarble makes some very good mobile games, but we've seen those kind of things. And I don't know. I was sort of hoping for an XCOM Marvel game, but then they said it wasn't going to be. So I think they did at least warn us, right? Ahead of time and say, yeah, this is what did you look at it, Reg?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Pretty.
It's very mobile-y. Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that.
But
What else?
I mean, that was already what I had expected when I was seeing the trailer for the first time, because it's like, ooh, it's super animated. There's a lot of stuff going on there. That's for sure a mobile game.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, it's in consoles. And there was a little bit of hope. But that little bit of hope with that trailer is kind of gone again.
Was I the only one who liked the last Ultimate Alliance? I actually enjoyed that, the Switch game. Did you guys enjoy Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch?
Oh, yeah. We played that together. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you and Johnny played that with SingDev, didn't you? So would you have liked... I mean, are you guys...
game like that? Sure.
Yeah. No, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I think it's just the style that we're getting. We'll have to see. What else we got, Johnny?
Let's see. I think we had one more topic we wanted to talk about. Oh, you mentioned No Man's Sky. I think there is a content patch coming out.
Did you see that, man? It adds, like, villages. Like, where are we with No Man's Sky now?
Yeah.
I didn't see it, actually.
Yeah, you should check it out. What is it called? Not Horizons. That's the...
Frontier?
Frontier, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
Interesting.
That was...
Go ahead.
That was the thing that always puzzled me about No Man's Sky. That was this idea that you are charting you are exploring uncharted space, except you arrive on the planet and then
everybody's there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or
well,
like you see
like
these structures that are already built.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
There's
at the
already
starting.
a space station there, and a trader, and there's someone down on the planet. And,
All right. But if they hadn't done that, we'd be like, those guys suck. So they're stuck. I do agree, though, that when you're like, I'm the explorer, and you land, and they're like, not really, because I'm here right now.
It's a little bit like Columbus landing and saying, "No, I found America." Yeah.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I get that. I just think it's phenomenal, and it shows like, dude, there's so much incredible stuff in that game beyond even what they originally said now. And I will never want a game to ever do that. Ever. What a terrible idea. It probably killed him mentally. I mean, he's talked about how hard it was, and he's a part of the problem, so is Sony. Like, obviously. I'm not ignoring that, but what we're playing now is pretty fucking impressive. I mean, guys, that's the game I dreamed of when I was a kid. And that's not a lie. That is the game I dreamed of. There is nothing, because it's got VR now, there is nothing in No Man's Sky that is beyond what I dreamed of when I was a kid playing Elite for the first time with the fucking the graphics that were just grid lines. Remember those days? Where you're like,
oh, yeah.
A grid 3D movement. So, I mean, it's nuts. Do you guys read
the original Wing Commander?
Oh, dude, the original Wing Commander. And remember when you first got CD or DVD, what have you, and they showed like
the cutscenes?
And you were just like, it's real. It's fucking real. It's the future. Yeah, and now
like Rebel Assault. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, and it would be the blue screened with the guys, you know, and there'd be macro blocks, and you were still like, dude, it was 16 colors, by the way. That was all they could get back. You know, they couldn't even have full colors, 16 colors, and you were just like watching Mark Hamill talk, and you were like, Freddie Prinze Jr. doing not Freelancer. What's the other one? There's Freelancer, Starlancer, Star Citizen. What is the one Freddie Prinze Jr. made a movie of? Does anybody remember that? It was a terrible movie, and it was also directed by Starlancer's.
Wasn't that Wing Commander?
Wing Commander had a terrible movie. Yeah,
that was Wing Commander. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, very cool. How's No Man's Sky making money with free updates?
Well, probably still selling the game.
Yeah, it's not on any of the services, right, guys? It's not on Game Pass, right?
No, it's not.
I'm assuming it's at 49, or maybe. Well, wait. Did they have a paid expansion? No. Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Nothing.
It's all included.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so
Imagine
cool,
that's how all games used to be.
I mean, not really.
Yeah, no. No.
Yeah.
Well, but no, because you got expansions.
No game gave you that much support.
No game. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, because it's years, right? After release.
Yeah.
You know what bothers me too is like I still remember the first time.
I mean, in the old days, you were lucky if you got a patch on a CD-ROM. So,
dude, that's what I was just going to bring up.
Well, yeah.
Listen to this.
Before the internet, it either worked or it didn't.
Virtual Fighter
Forever.
was so bad on the Sega Saturn. Everybody who bought one who sent in their registration card, they gave you Virtual Fighter's Remix, which had MIP textures, which nobody had done on the original. That's how they patched them.
It is on Game Pass.
Thank you very much. It's on Game Pass. Okay.
Apparently, people are saying.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, dude. What was the first one that we got? I'm trying to think of the first game. I used to go to a place called ElderScrolls.net online. Elder Patches, I think it was called.
Oh, I remember there were like standalone patching programs to keep your games up to date.
Yeah, and standalone patching websites that would go everywhere else and grab those patches and put them there. ArtSin says, cheers, ACG and panel, new here, and I'm glad I made it. Thank you very much for showing up. Yeah, dude, it's like those were exciting times when you first figured out the internet, you first figured out how to patch a game, reading patch notes, and they were like 3 or 4 bullet points and not like 700 pages like they are now.
Dude, 4 bullet points is still more than Sony ever puts out for their PlayStation updates.
Yeah, they'll be like, fix some shit.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
It's always one line. It's like improve stability. It's like, okay, cool.
And even with the system specs, like how the game would actually run when you put it in would be a roll of the dice. Yeah.
I remember going to the store and buying like I think it was Wing Commander 4, green cover, ship on the front, and it had like I think it was 3 or 4 discs. and the third disc wouldn't install.
Oh well, I mean, how many?
Yeah, the worst I had was. Oh, sorry.
No, I think the biggest games I had like 20 something floppy disks.
What was that?
I don't remember what
Apple
game
II?
it was.
That would have been Apple II.
But yeah, it was like 2 stacks of floppy disks, and then you have that reading error. It's like.
Oh God, that sound!
Yeah.
Anybody from back in the day remembers that sound, man. You'd get that, and you'd put it in there, and like Apple II in particular had these drives that were just a case, and they were really open. So when it did make that sound, like you could hear it in the computer lab, and you could just hear it go like gak, 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 and you just knew. You're like, yep, here we go, because that thing was just smashing
like
the back.
on disc 15 out of 20.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Silver? You were gonna add something to this, Silver? Were you going to add something?
Yeah, but I forgot.
Artson says, are we ever going to get a Sleeping Dogs sequel? No. I think that company's done. I think Sleeping Dogs is gone. Like, I don't think we're going to get... Man, people are getting timed out of Nightbot for the weirdest things. I apologize.
Yeah,
people.
it's kind of...
It might be the ... dots, but I have no clue. I'll just keep reading and authorizing you. Artson says, now the question here, he asked, Sleeping Dogs sequel... or a remake of Legend of Dragoon. Which one's Legend of Dragoon? Was that Super SNES? Is that back in the... I think that's PlayStation 1 and SNES.
That was PlayStation 1, I think. I don't think it was Super Nintendo.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the same system I didn't have.
Is there any systems you guys passed up that you wish you hadn't?
Oh, I remember now. I am like the worst I had with buying game discs was I bought Spycraft, which was like a point and click like adventure game that was like made partially by like former CIA agents.
Loved that game.
And I brought it home and I looked forward to playing it, and all the game discs were empty. Like they had print on them and everything, but there was absolutely no data on them.
Oh,
like nothing had been burned onto them.
Oh man, I've never heard of that before. That's crazy. Here's something new.
And
all
like
the time.
I hadn't kept my receipt either, because it's like, no, I'm not gonna need it. Like I hadn't imagined that would be a factor. Like,
what about you people in chat? What's your worst gaming experience when it comes to technical stuff? Like this kind of right now I'm dealing with one, my Xbox Syndicate. I have the physical copy, not the digital copy. So I put the physical copy in because I want to play it on my Xbox, and it won't install on the disc. And so really the only way is, because it's so old, would be to rebuy it. And I've already got it everywhere else. So it's that thing where it's like you're sort of stuck between the two types of delivery right now. I think a lot of people get in that with physical and digital, where they sort of get stuck between two. They have one version, can't upgrade the other. Because I think on PlayStation that happens a couple times, where you hear somebody say, oh, I have the physical version, or I have the digital, you can't upgrade it, or what have you. A new Legacy of Kain would be amazing. A lot of people want new Legacy of Kain. Wasn't there already one? Wait, I thought Legacy of Kain got a...
No.
Maybe it didn't. Okay.
Defiance is still the last one.
Oh my God, Pete says, I played the whole game and the memory card was full and I couldn't save. Damn.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Abbreviated reviews. Sorry, Nightbot's just going nuts. I'll have to disconnect. I bricked a motherboard by peeling the insulation stickers off the backplate for the heatsink and mounting it. Damn. Did you guys hear us talking last week where I was talking about the guy doing that video of him putting the RAM sticks in and he broke them over sideways? Oh my God, that was painful. Just the sound. I broke a motherboard one time. I didn't put enough spacers in. And spacers are what hold it off of the back. And I missed one in the middle. And I put the RAM in. And the fucking motherboard goes like...
Oh, no.
Yeah. That was... Yeah.
Oh, man.
And you know what? I had put together so many. It's just one of those things where, like, if I was working for a company, they would say, 4 screw goes here. You know, and you would have... But I was doing it on my own. And it was one of those things where you're sitting on your floor... Fucking screws are everywhere, and you just are like, and it happens to the best of us. This is why when somebody, like, I was telling somebody this yesterday, I can't remember what it was, that they were like, if you do it right, you should be able to do it right from that point on. And I'm like, dude, then every gold medalist.
Where you sit on the floor on a carpet, ideally, and you're like, static electricity, whatever, it will be fine.
My God, man. And the one time, and you are fine, right? How many times are you fine? And then you're not.
Exactly.
And when you're not, You're not. There isn't it slightly messes something up. That is for sure the end of that. Like the moment it happens, you're screwed. That's almost like hard drives. Whenever anybody's like, is my hard drive going bad? I tell them yes, always.
Yeah.
Right?
If you have reason to believe it.
If you have reason to believe, or should a hard drive make a, and I'm like, no, replace it.
No.
Like whenever they start talking about sound, dude.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's just like it's over, man. It's over. I'll get something where I try to nurse it too. I'll be like, there's something in this fan that sounds like I'll hear a whirring in the computer, and you'll be like, maybe it'll go away. It's like, dude, that's not. It got there. Like once right?
There isn't a process by which it will go away.
Right, entropy is the universe. It gets
goes
worse.
in one direction.
It doesn't reassemble. Yeah, but there'll be times where I'll hear the fan go like, and I'll be all, oh, it stopped. Like, no, it didn't. You just can't hear it. It's still fine. Just as bad. Yeah. Oh, dude. A lot of people are saying red rings. Yeah, red rings were. I mean, that's got to be the biggest recall of all time, right? In gaming entertainment for any of us would be red rings. I mean, it was $3 billion.
That was pretty big.
Yeah.
Vista's
I don't
probably
think
close.
anything else comes to.
Oh man,
right.
I had Windows Vista on one PC. Never ever get the named Windows. You know, Millennium. What was it? Was it Millennium?
Right. Yeah,
Dude,
Millennium.
I had fucking Millennium.
Was so bad.
Oh my god.
It was terrible.
And then you get people like me who, once I have a bad experience, I stick with the one that works. I had 98 forever. SE, by the way. Once you get SE, and then I was hacking it for extra RAM and all that shit. And then I went to 98 SE, and then finally went to what was the other one? Windows
P was one.
XP, yeah, which I really liked. Windows XP worked really well for me.
Yeah, that was really good.
Bob Ross says, who remembers when you had to eject and blow on your discs? Bro, I just did that. What do you mean, remember? I've blown on multiple discs. And by the way, blowing inside of a cartridge, you'll hear people say don't do it. And I'm going to admit you probably shouldn't. But that has fixed so many issues for me, blowing into a cartridge like slot where the cartridge won't. And, they'll be like, well, your breath will get on it and the particulate. And I'll be like, yeah, but it works right now. So get me through it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I went through
For the moment, it works. In 20 years, it might have a problem. But,
right. It's not going to magic. Yeah, entropy.
Yes.
Glenn says, I went through 6 Xbox 360s before I broke down and bought the 360S. Oh, right. Yeah, the S was the S was the fix, right? It was the one with the new solder. And did you guys have 360s, or am I the only one who had them here? Oh,
yeah, I did. But it never broke down on its own. It was always my fault.
I had a hard drive error.
I know what you're talking about. I know.
Red ring error.
You got a red ring error. I know what Reg is talking about, though, because I think everybody tried at least one mod on their 360.
Mm-hmm.
It was too enticing.
Tried is the operator here.
Dude, the 360 was so moddable. Down here at the corner shop where you're not supposed to be able to buy this stuff, if you talk to the right person, I think it was Exodus was the one of the hack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They would sell you the one with the LCD on the front where like you could choose like 200 games. And that was a game store that was doing that. It was that moddable that game stores were just like, screw it. We might as well get in on it. And people don't want to try this on their own, or they have Reg's issue where you don't have a 360 afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. Where you really bad at soldering, and you don't have a 360 afterwards. Yeah.
My first solder job, I burned my finger and then put the solder all over the motherboard. That was over. Luckily, I did test. I was pretty smart on soldering. I tested on broken stuff most of the time, where you're like, got to figure out how to do it.
Well, it was broken afterwards, so.
Now you can test on it. Were we going to say something?
I had a pretty awesome moment once when I was in elementary school where we had to go to an internship, and I went to an internship at like a data company associated with like Scandinavian Airlines. They were running like technical maintenance on all the computers. So I went there, I worked there. And then by the end of it, they basically took my computer in and upgraded it for free with like max RAM and everything.
Oh, wow.
Just hooked it up.
Because you were helping them. And that was like.
Yeah. As an intern. Yeah. And then I got it back. Yeah.
Paying it forward, man. That's one of the things I do. I haven't got anything for this, but other than feeling good, but like I definitely give and I tell people, if you do have PC stuff, you can hold on to it, right? I have 14 hard drives. I know what holding on to shit for too long is like, right? But you can also donate those to schools and stuff. And right now, schools, as fucked up as they are, I don't know exactly everything they can take, but definitely donate if you can. That's one of the things I forgot to say last week is if you guys have a chance, donate like anything you can. Because I went in to get my surgery. First, they didn't have enough blood. And then by the time they did, they were like, COVID shut all elective surgeries down. And I waited too long to where it's not elective. I'd need it. And I was like, well, fuck. So now you're just screwed. While a bunch of people are laying on the floor dying, and you're like, feel like dying. So if you can help other people, donate food, donate clothes. Clothes is another big one. There's a lot of people. I don't know about where you guys are. They've done the thing where they like don't make you pay rent now. Or what, the rent hold or whatever because of
moratorium, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't stop everybody, and it certainly doesn't pay for a homeless person to not be homeless. That's helping the people who are already somewhere. So if you can, man, donate. It's very cool of you to do so, and it helps people. I'm gonna read some of these. Remember how long it used to take to download a patch? Yes, I also remember the sound when my mom would pick up the phone.
Oh, yes.
When she'd be like, what's that sound? What's that sound? I'll be like, I gotta start over.
Oh, I was at 50%.
Oh, dude. Let's see. Sega Genesis chip thingy not reading. I think I know what you're talking about. I actually had the same thing where I had to switch out my Genesis for somebody else because it would only read a certain amount of memoried games. I recall spending dozens of hours trying to set up TCP networks via Seagate for LAN parties. God, those were the days. Remember when they had a different cable for that? Crossover cable? So you could plug PC to PC?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Dude.
I do, because I always had the wrong one.
I always had the wrong one. And I could never figure out. I remember my friend Simon, he was so tired of me because I was just like, I don't get it, dude. It's the same cable. He's like, no, it's not. The twisted fucking, blah, blah, blah. They don't need a router. And I'm like, nah, it's the same. I was so mad. I was like, if they're going to do that, they need to have a different plug. It's like dual port and HDMI having the same plug. It didn't make sense to me. I had a failed attempt at modding a Wii. I didn't even know you could mod a Wii.
That also has chips.
No shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. I bought only one 360 and then it red ringed. Well, you just learned better than the rest of us, right? Had to return 3 PS4 controllers to get one without stick drift. Yeah. Speaking of that, everything has stick drift now, right?
Yeah, my PS5 controller has stick drift and it's like a year old. So, yeah.
The PS5?
Yes.
That one? Oh, shit. Damn. Man, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Speaking of what else sucks, view count. Go check out my video on September. I didn't get a lot of views on that because YouTube fucked me up. So if you guys want to talk about September games, go check it out, please. It would help the channel. Help the channel immensely. And thanks to the patrons, by the way. You guys are now pretty much the reason why I'm still able to create videos, because YouTube hates me. And here's what's weird. All these, did you guys see the big YouTubers coming over?
Yeah. Lupo and...
Titman? Not Titman. That would be a weird name. Yeah, it's Titman.
Oh, Tim.
Titman?
Something? The Titman? No, not Titman. That's
not...
Okay.
Whatever.
We're digressing.
For Pornhub, maybe.
Right.
Anyway, people are coming over to YouTube, and it's so funny because a lot of people are like, yeah, there's no hate raids on YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Yes,
yeah, because it's always there.
It's literally always there. That's exactly right.
You don't need a rate for it.
Nightbot, by the way, is deleting people because I've set it too high, because you do get a bunch of racist bastards. Like, it does happen. So I'm hoping a lot of these people coming over aren't, under the impression that it's some magical, in fact, it's a cesspool. So I don't think you should expect anything like super above and beyond, but I do hope that we do see YouTube switching some stuff
Even
up.
the Tatman.
Yes, honest mistake, guys, okay?
Exactly.
That was, I guess, a slip right there.
Oh,
there
Tim the Tatman?
Yeah, not the Titman, I'm sorry.
Honestly,
sorry, Tim.
Tatman doesn't make any sense to me, so I would have legitimately thought Titman was more correct than Tatman. I don't know what that even...
Tattoos, I would imagine.
Oh, gotcha. Artsin says, did you guys ever play the original Bard's Tale on Apple II? Of course. Apple II, Bard's Tale. Listen, here we go. Bard's Tale, Thief of Fate was 3. Bard's Tale, something of Skya Bray was 2. Did you do any of these, Reg? Bard's Tale?
I did not.
No.
Silver, no. Johnny, too old for you,
No.
right? So there was something Skya Bray. There was Thief of Fate. Thief of Fate was awesome. Can't remember the rest of them. But Bard's Tale is quite literally like one of my favorite like game series of all time. What else do we got? Anything?
I think that was about it for news and topics.
Questions. Let's finish them up. Let's wrap it up.
Okay. Should we go to Discord?
Yeah, well, you get Discord. Let me see if I can turn Night Bot down a little bit so that it's not banning people who actually want to talk. Continue.
Well, first question from Krelt. I definitely would like to hear your thoughts about Eiyuden Chronicle. Eiyuden Chronicle. The Suikoden reboot from the original creators.
Wow, you're
The
making
arts-
Johnny jump through some hoops right now.
Oh yeah.
Bro, I got nothing on this.
Exactly.
Do you guys know
it's like,
the-
what is this?
Yes,
Even?
I've even brought it up on the
Nice.
on the podcast
Okay,
a couple
good.
of times.
Oh, there we go. Silver.
Rescued.
help-
Okay, go for it.
help.
Go for it, Silver.
I mean,
Bring it home.
well, I'm a huge fan of Suikoden.
Oh,
So
I
though
knew
I've
that.
only-
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the exact pronunciation. That's my best effort. I could be wrong. But I'm a huge fan of the first two games. I haven't played beyond that, but like the sequels, Suikoden 2 is one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. And I was really excited to hear that they're rebooting it. So I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen anything beyond the fact that they're doing the reboot and that they successfully kickstarted it.
Yeah,
or
it has a
crowdfunded
Steam
it.
store page. You can look at some screenshots, and it's coming 2023 apparently.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I like I said, I love those games. Looking forward to more. Like it's really like it's been one of those things with Konami, one of those franchises they have, like so many others, like Castlevania, like Metal Gear Solid and whatnot, where they don't really do a whole lot with it, unfortunately. But
Konami's got a lot of those.
Yeah.
They're sitting on a lot of IPs. All right, Johnny, that was
Well,
the
I mean,
answer.
they do make pachinko machines with them, so they do
True.
put
Well,
them to
true.
use.
All right.
Yes.
Jesus Crust asks, now that we're 2/3 through the year, what are some games in 2021 that really surprised you with how good or bad they were? Death's Door, a great one. Really good surprise. Very good game.
Aliens was pretty poor for me.
And
Honestly,
we
really.
kind of hoped it would be good. So
I did. I probably shouldn't have, but I did.
The Veil, for sure, on the positive list.
Yeah, the Veil.
That
I know you
blind
like that one.
accessible game. Yeah.
yeah, the surprise is interesting because that means you either expected it to be a flop or good, and then it went the other way.
Well,
Yeah,
or
but-
you expected it to be interesting, and it turned out to be awesome.
And it turned out, yeah.
Oh.
Or you expected it to be boring, it was awesome, or you expected
Right.
it to be interesting, it was boring.
Yeah, I mean, Lacuna surprised me quite a bit. Like I hadn't expected it to be that well written as it was. But I found it to be one of the best written games so far.
What about you guys in chat? You surprised by anything? Good or bad? Biomutant. Yeah, Biomutant. Biomutant you could sort of tell was going to be jank. But Biomutant was more jank than I expected. What else we got?
Right. So next question from Nasamai. Valve are putting massive work. I probably butchered it. Valve are putting
probably.
massive work into Linux game compatibility through Proton for the Steam Deck. Would any of you consider escaping Microsoft's broken updates and using Linux for your gaming PC OS if, as promised, your entire Steam library just worked?
No, because there's not just Steam.
Right. And also, every OS has its problems.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
That's what I was going to end with, was like, no, because it's got its own. Yeah, absolutely. Even if it's just because it's less supported and it's harder to find other programs I like.
It's just a different game of whack-a-mole, but it's...
It absolutely is.
And there are for sure also broken updates on Linux. I've had plenty because my work laptop for years has been completely on Linux. So it's not that perfect system that has no issues.
And it's endlessly more complex in the sense that choose the right distribution for you.
If on Windows Update you click on update and you get like, oh, I have 2 updates. On Linux, every second day you say update, you have 70, 80 updates for packages.
Damn. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Silver, any answer to this one? Would you switch? Or
No, just I couldn't really switch for professional reasons. Like I have like security standards and whatnot for confidentiality that I need to align with Windows.
CIA operative, so
Do you know why? Do you know why he doesn't use color, man? Because of that.
Exactly.
Yep.
He's trying to make it. Pretty soon he'll just show up and it'll be one of those
avatars. That would give away
again.
too much.
Yeah, there's too much data in that. In that, there's too much color data. They could identify him.
Yep.
Are you going to play the new Battlefield? Of course we will. We all will, right?
Yeah.
We're all going to play the new Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Of course we won't. We all won't play the new
of course.
Battlefield.
Of course.
You're not going to play the new Battlefield?
No, I mean, I don't really play online PvP shooters.
Yeah, true. No, I get you. I get you. That makes sense. I get you. What new games do you guys want to see at PS Showcase? PlayStation Showcase? I can't really think of anything. I mean, I'd rather be surprised. I don't really... PlayStation does a pretty shitty job with their announcements lately. Like, their events have been pretty shit.
Yeah, you show up and it's like 5 minutes and then it's over again. And you're like, okay.
In fact, I find more data, I don't know about you guys, but from other companies' small events or just them talking about their game, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't, even if they are a Sony exclusive or a Microsoft exclusive, I find more data there than any of these. Yeah. These events have been pretty lackluster, I feel, when it comes to announcements. What else you got, Johnny?
This one from Fatal the Baptist. Are there any games this year that you played for the first time because of the devs adding content recently, or you saw a streamer or YouTuber play it? What did you think of the game, and do you recommend any of your co-hosts try it? Do you like any of the indie showcases that pop up on Steam Store for demos and the like? Did you find any that you probably would have missed otherwise? Tell us about it.
Fatal rocks, because I said, hey, man, make sure you get your questions in. He hadn't put one in, and I did it one more time. I'm like, make sure your questions get in.
He had one of those Russian dolls where, you keep
Fatal's
opening
like,
them.
all right, man, you asked. Here we go.
So I guess the beginning, any games that you played because like new content came out, or you saw a streamer or YouTuber play it, that I guess caused you to come back to a game? I got one. Dead Cells, a game I love, got some recent content, and it's awesome. It's just a great game to jump back.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I could see No Man's Sky possibly having been that. Yeah. Because I did return to No Man's Sky, and I don't remember how. It was most likely news, because I don't get a chance to watch streamers. But so it's probably news, but I would say I may have watched. Yeah, I probably don't see. One of the problems with streamers is their bitrate is so bad. So like a lot of times, it doesn't. I want to see a trailer because I'm hoping the company's trailer looks better or their walkthrough. So usually I'll go to YouTube and watch like a, what are they called, developer walkthrough maybe or something. But
you went back and played it for the last update as well, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, but I think it was news. I mean, yeah. I don't think I watch many. Wait a minute. No, Azralin showed me Splitgate. No, that wasn't this year. That was like 2 years ago. Sorry. So nothing this year.
Right.
Red,
yeah, I've gone back to games, but not due to those specific reasons.
Reg?
Yeah, I don't watch any streamers. I stop by now and then for people I know, but I don't like watch anyone outside that.
I appreciate it, Reg. I see you.
Exactly. For me, it's mostly Steam itself, like news on Steam or like recommended games on there. Sometimes it actually lands a hit.
Really?
as shitty as it used to be. It's at least for me, it's gotten better.
Seriously, that's never hit for me, man. That's so. But it sounds like rarely for you too, technically.
Yeah. It's still mostly crap.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last time I logged in and wasn't like, why is this on? Like, or because it's a lot of times the Zeitgeist big game. Or maybe the Zeitgeist indie game.
Well, the Veil, for example, I discovered like that. And,
oh, no shit. Oh, okay.
And Scarlet Hollow, which is also like a super indie game.
Is that how you're finding these indie games, Silver? Are you the front page? Does it ever tell you like, go play this depressing thing?
No.
No.
I mean,
The header.
I don't really use streamers, but I do actually use YouTubers. Like there are some YouTube channels that help me like curate and like sort
That's
through
cool.
all the stuff that comes out every single week.
Right.
Like one of the really good ones is one called I Dream of Indie, which I think I've mentioned before. Which is one of the ones I go to quite often.
That makes sense.
They do reviews constantly of indie games coming out.
It's like, we saw you enjoyed that Alzheimer's game. Here's another one you may.
Yeah.
You may.
Wow.
If you don't remember that you liked that
Exactly.
Alzheimer's game,
I was thinking like,
That's
here's
what I
that
thought he
Steam
was gonna say.
recommendation again.
Yeah, oh my God.
You should definitely see my Steam recommendation list. Yeah.
that is so wrong, but that would be hilarious.
Layered joke
In there. If it was like, if it was like, you may not remember this, and it shows the time in your library. That's so wrong. That's so man, that's wrong. Okay, what else do we got?
This I'm losing it. Sorry.
Well, that's because that's wrong, but that is.
That was very
wrong.
iffy. Okay, this question from C2. After the Acti-Blizz fiasco, Riot, Naughty Dog, and others, is it time for company employees to unionize?
I mean, I've said that it was time like 3-4 years ago on this podcast. So yeah, I guess so.
So that would be local, right? To a country or even a state or something, or how?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, it would obviously depend on the labor market in the respective country. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it everywhere, but representation for workers is important. So yeah, I don't know if you'd call it union everywhere, because some unions are pretty shit too. But that doesn't mean representation.
No.
In a group to make sure that they're not getting their fucking arms chopped off at work. Like, yeah, everybody should. There should. But the thing is I'm always. It's too much. I was just going to say
it's not a fix-all.
And I was going to say I just can't believe that we even have to have a union. But that's beside the point. But to me, that
fundamentally they should organize. Yeah.
No, fundamentally, the company should be like, why would you need a union? We're
happen in the
doing
first
everything
place.
for
True.
Yeah. So I was going far beyond just being like, that's what blows me away.
Yeah.
Because like if I was working a company, I'd be like, well, even when I was getting people to help me with the channel, I'm like, I'm going to make sure that this is paid. Not, health insurance, because I didn't have that much, but even if you're a contractor, it's like you have to. Why wouldn't you? Obviously, we know why. To save money and put that onus on somebody else, but it's just, it's broken. That's a long story. It's broken. It sucks. That's depressing. Thanks for bringing it up. Thanks for depressing.
Yeah, cheers, C2. We're joking. Thanks for the question.
We are joking. Thank you. Somebody asked if me and Maddie are in good terms. Yes, for sure. Robert Cochran asked that. Yeah, I'm just not doing any other podcasts at all.
Yeah, just focusing right on your stuff.
Yeah, and on like my wife works here now from home.
Right.
So you can't do, I can't do, what was I doing? Fucking 8 hours of podcasts in one day.
Oh, yeah.
Like shit's not gonna fly. Like at some point.
24/7 podcast.
Yeah, dude, there were times where I'm like, hey, hang on, guys. I'm coming off of the other one. Hang on, you guys. I'm coming off of the, it was ridiculous. What else you got, John?
Yeah, next up, we got 2 more questions. Next up from Plague Souls. In 2022, popular fighting game franchise Mortal Kombat will be 30 years old. My question... that's a long ass time, dude. My question, do you feel any sort of release or collection should coincide with this milestone.
I thought you were going to stop at release. Do you feel any kind of release? Be like,
Any kind of
Yes.
well, you feel like any sort of release or collection should coincide with this milestone. What would you release? Are there any other franchises that should receive this kind of treatment?
No.
So you wouldn't see like a repackaging 30-year edition.
No, because then people be doing 5-year. We already got 5-year reboot or remakes or what's
What
the,
what about
reboots?
like 30-year anniversary complete with a K, of course, edition, where you have every single Mortal Kombat game from the first one in like one thick package?
Okay, here's the problem. Are they all backwards compatible and forwards compatible? Are they all gonna work right
Look,
with the same buttons?
I haven't thought this
think
through,
this
okay?
Johnny. Johnny, man, you're just
who has the
wishing.
rights with Acclaim and whatnot?
Yeah.
Or Acclaim.
Like, yeah, I don't like the 30-year. I instead like the idea of fans doing it. This is gonna sound so. Let me reverse unionize for a second. I don't like when a company says this is our 30-year anniversary, and I'm not saying I don't like it like they're bad. I'm not into that. But if fans were to do like almost their own event or they celebrate it, it's less of a PR stunt. So like if somebody, so like when Plague's saying this is 30-year, I haven't heard anything from those guys saying anything, but he did. It'd be awesome if he on his Twitch channel was like 30 years, man. I'm doing a 30-year anniversary. To me, that's what gaming's about. Not the company telling me, congratulations on your hard-earned money. We have lived. I don't give a fuck about you. Like, I don't care if you're still around in 30 years. Like, we're not even connected. But if I do it, that shows the passion of a gamer coming forward and saying, motherfuckers, I've been here for 30 years and loved your shit. And by the way, I'm not saying companies shouldn't give back. They probably already have. I think that they've done collections. They've done DC versus Mortal Kombat, right? Didn't they do that? Or was it Marvel versus... What was the one that they did? Or was Mortal Kombat characters versus... Yeah, DC. I feel that was giving back to fans, because don't you guys think that's pretty cool? Comic books and Mortal Kombat, you're like, wow.
Sure.
But, man, fans... I'm much more into fans being like, this is 30 years than
showing the love for the game.
I don't give a fuck, man. How many times have you seen that company be like, the Centennial version, we've been around 100 years. Yeah, fucking during slavery and shit. Like, who knows what terrible things you used to do? Like, I don't care. I don't want them telling me. I don't know. There's something very grandiose about it. But on the other hand,
it's a cool idea.
We'll be doing a 6-year anniversary for the podcast here soon, and I would
totally not hypocritical.
Yeah, you get my drift, though. I love it when fans do it. I think there's something fucking awesome
if they were to create some kind of framework.
This is actually the 6-year anniversary.
Yeah, it is. It is. I posted recently in the Discord.
Yeah, it is. Reg posted the thing, but I was gonna. Yeah, in the Discord, Reg was like,
we didn't celebrate, man. We should all wear like.
It's not yet.
It's not yet. Yeah.
Hawaiian shirts.
But Reg took a picture, and it's like I say, I'm opening the Discord, and Reg is like, all right. Yeah, those were the very first posts in our Discord.
Yes.
Awesome. All right,
but I could be wrong. If you guys disagree with me,
I mean, I like some of the collections we've seen. I mean, one of my favorites were the first decade of Command Conquer. Was sort of EA put out the first decade collection, which sort of gathered all the Command Conquer games up until that point, including like all of them. Like it's Command Conquer Renegade and all of the offshoots into one big pile. And it was really nice convenient way to go back and actually be able to play Command Conquer Renegade, like in a digital version. There wasn't a disc version. So I appreciated that.
And they made them compatible with Windows 2.
Yeah.
I almost said 2000. Yeah. What we're on right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you could run them. Yeah, they did.
I mean, that to me is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's something to be said for exposing these games to people who have never seen them or played them, right? Also, like who never had the chance to.
True.
And see so maybe they can see the growth of the series, like how it evolved from the start to the finish, for better or worse. So I think there's something to be said for like collections like that. But there is also something to be said on the other hand, where I mean, you do see it with some companies where, like, I mean, it's like, especially like supermarkets here, like it's like every day is their birthday. Like every day is like a birthday sale, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Same shit.
Yeah. Where it gets to be a little much. But I think the 30-year anniversary of Mortal Kombat, I think they probably should have been at the 25
30
year.
years. Right. But that's a long time, I guess.
But yeah.
I love the idea of creating something around the fans. I would love to see them.
But companies will take it over. That's the company will take it over. They'll infect it.
Maybe
with
organize
their hands.
Organize like a Mortal Kombat tournament or something.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what I was trying to say. Like if you were to create some kind of framework where you make it easy for fans to do something cool to celebrate it, you know, maybe give out some cool prizes or like elevate people who have been playing it for a long time.
Plague Soul says he wants a 6-year Laserdisc collection of the international podcasts. First of all, we don't even have it. Jamel says 6 years since I found ACG and the international podcast from Co-Optional. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
With
that's
the lost
depressing.
episodes with the Pool Panic guy.
That's depressing. Yeah. Dude, yeah, I guess what I said sounded like I was saying I didn't want companies to give people a deal on a bundle. I wasn't like, that should happen at any time. It doesn't need to wait 30 years.
No,
30 years
that's
to
a
me,
fair point.
If a company's going to do
point.
something, ship every motherfucker an arcade cabinet. Like, you're already making billions. There's got to be something bigger than just... I don't know what it would be. Okay, I'll tell you what it would be. It would be the opposite of what Horizon Zero Dawn's sequel is, which is where you get a case and no game. It would be that, but it would be everything. And it would be cheap. It'd be so cheap that you would question what child labor camp put together the toy. You'd be like, how's this so cheap? It's $19. It gives you every game. It gives you a fucking statue that's 6 feet tall, and it makes sounds. And it's $19 because they can do that. And the reason why I get mad is because I was just sourcing action figures as a joke for our channel. I was like, I'm gonna get Karak, Silver, Reg, and Johnny action figures.
Hell yeah.
Do you know how they are not expensive, even for groups of 100? So you can't tell me that these guys selling them for $80 aren't making almost 100% profit.
Look at AliExpress, for example.
Look at all. That's where I got the idea, by the way. AliExpress.
Yeah, you can look at the shit you can get shipped. Like I the first purchase I did there, it was a test purchase because I couldn't believe that I'd actually get anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling people.
And what I bought was just 100-pack of cable binders. That's it. It cost $1, including shipping from China to me.
Isn't that crazy? And the only thing you're waiting on, is the time. I think
several
that's
people
the big
worked
thing.
for $1.
Exactly. And the packaging, and someone had to put a stamp on it and take it to the post office, etc., etc.
That's the thing, is I would love no company's done it. I think Game Pass is close. I really do. I honestly think Game Pass at times is where you're like, whoa, the price is ridiculous for Game Pass, especially first-party games. I think when Game Pass first came out, people were saying first-party games, there's no chance. It just doesn't make sense that they will be on Game Pass. So I would say Game Pass is pretty close to what I'm talking about. But I would love for a company to just come forward and be like, I mean, for example, like I said, Sega Saturn, they shipped you a free game because Sega was unhappy with the performance/look of their game. They were like, you get a free game. That to me is pretty awesome. And we just don't, we don't see it unless the company, we just don't see it. I mean, I don't even know of an example, I guess, where we do see it.
I don't remember what game it was. There was one that launched so terribly that they said, okay, we're giving you a refund, or if you're willing to stick with us, we're giving you another game for free.
Oh, yeah. See, though that comes on the heels of a shit problem, I do like,
Yeah.
you know, that's the best way to restore confidence, is to not just buy it back, but say also, well, No Man's Sky is a good example of that. I mean, it is. It's unfortunate that we got there, but I don't think No Man's Sky... Oh, here's the question. We can end on this. I have a question for you guys. Would No Man's Sky look the way it does right now if No Man's Sky had succeeded day one?
No.
Exactly. Right?
So
If they
We
had
should-
success and like they would have moved on to.
So
the
we
next
should
game.
shit on every game that comes out in the hopes that it becomes the next.
Well, if it
No Man's-
promises at least. Yes.
What's the heuristic we're developing?
What do you
here?
think, Silver? Let's say the game came out, because I left that too open-ended, but No Man's Sky comes out and it's got sandworms, you know, and the ability to do multiplayer. I think that was, you know,
Yeah, that was also one
the
of the
basic
points.
promises, but still nowhere near where it is now. Do you think we would have? Do you think it would have? It would be where it is now, with its content, or do you think they do No Man's Sky 2?
I don't think it would be the exact same now, but I do think there would be. I mean, I think it's impossible to sort of
I know.
speculate on.
Here's the thing, black and white man. You gotta fucking be gray today. You gotta answer my question. You can't be like, "There's multiple, so I don't." No, put your foot down. Come on, put your foot down. Would it be this? Would it be? You know, we get a lot from that game.
It wouldn't be the same, but unlike Reg, I think it would still be like it would still be
A lot.
getting content and yeah.
Well, yeah, because if it had been launching successfully, a lot of that stuff would have been in the initial version.
That's why I sort of
Yeah.
rejiggered the question to like if we got closer
Yeah.
to, you know.
I
In other
don't see
words,
them
how
doing,
much
like-
of it?
Yeah.
Sorry, like how much of
Fucking dog. Sorry.
everything? Okay, there.
Yeah. You didn't see that because this is my house and not a green screen, is what I'm saying.
Of
Continue.
course.
The
Yeah.
smallest room, as we said.
Can you hear me echo? Echo? Oh, yeah, continue. Sorry. What was that? Continue. We'll wrap this up.
Well, in other words, how much of all this content that we've gotten in the past 5 years from them is from an almost like feeling that they have to redeem themselves, right?
Yeah.
It's
But-
clearly a part of it.
As Silver said, you know, it's impossible to guess.
We don't
but
know.
I'm gonna say
Can't replay the tape.
I'm gonna say I think that a lot of it would be packaged as purchasable expansions, is what I'm saying.
That I can see, right?
Yeah.
DLC
I can see
or
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to make sure everybody's listening. I'm not actually saying that would be against
No.
the rules.
Not really.
Because there's a lot in that game. I mean, there's
Yeah.
but when after a while
And the
when you keep
content
getting it-
patches have been genuinely interesting.
Insanity.
Yeah.
And they would
Well,
have
yeah,
had,
and every
and
time you think they're done, there's still another
Exactly.
one
No,
coming.
that's and I didn't even know about this one. Like, had no clue, and then they're just like, boom, houses, bitch. Sorry, go
Now
ahead. Silver.
there's
What were you saying?
VR.
and they would have had
Oh,
more like more clout, more political, more capital, as it were, to use, to more goodwill to use
Yeah.
to actually charge for it.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I was saying, and also just, you know, more money because you don't work for free. So, but again,
Yeah.
like you guys said, or somebody reminded us, it is on Game Pass and it is doing well, obviously, and it is a good game now. So, anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. First of all, I'm gonna take 1 minute. I want to thank the patrons. Thanks these guys, of course. But these guys get something from it. They get to enjoy a delicious Friday with me, which, to be brutally honest, they should be paying a severe amount for.
Which we've
But-
been enjoying for 6 years now. So
Exactly,
yeah, that's
6
true.
years. But I do want to say thank you to the patrons. I put the link in there. I'm going to shamelessly plug the patron. We've got an awesome Discord, got a good group in there. As you can tell, we've got some long-termers. Plague Souls, he's been in there. Creative, he's been in there. It's a great place, and it does help out, especially as YouTube is, I don't know what YouTube's doing right now. So if you guys get a chance, throw a couple bucks in. I think, what do we do? Discord's $5. And it is true. There's a little bit of money you got to pay. But hopefully the reviews have saved you 60 on a shit game or found you a cool game. Even if you don't join Patreon, I'm hoping that somebody out there is like, man, I didn't know about Kingsbird or some other, you know, smaller title that you got a chance to play. And I hope you don't blame me for State of Decay 2's review, because I still like that game day one, even though it's much better now. But anyway, I would really appreciate it if you guys check it out. It does help the channel. Thanks to these guys. Johnny, what are you streaming?
So tomorrow I'm streaming the second expansion of Final Fantasy XIV. I'm starting that. It's called Stormblood. This is the second expansion, and I'm still going strong in it. I got the MMO bug, and it's and dude, I'm diversifying because now I was doing DPS and healer, and now I'm also doing tank. So now I got the trifecta and kind of learning the different roles.
Another game you're getting a lot of money's worth out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you look at like the amount of money that game, most MMOs that are free to play and stuff like that, I definitely give money into. But that in particular, man, that game, a lot of people like that sucker. Like, it is crazy to see the turnaround on that title and how many people like it. Like,
especially if you remember how it launched.
That's what I was just gonna say, and we can say some of it's because of WoW. I'm sure some of it is the generation of that entire, royal house. Like, that's another thing. One of these days we should talk about is like what happened there. I mean, because haven't they shed 50% of their subscribers, some huge amount of subscribers or something?
Yeah, they're back to, what was it, subscriber numbers from 5 years ago or something? They've undone a lot. Yeah.
Benjamin says Rebel Galaxy and Fate Extel. Holy shit, that game's old. 2 games I would have never tried if it wasn't for you, Karak. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate you being here, man. This was a blast. We're gonna have some cool stuff next week. We're gonna have some guests on. Thank Reg for showing up despite using an Apple II for his
Basically, it's an old dual core processor laptop. So yeah.
Are you kidding?
No.
A dual core can run Windows and honestly, it's been so long since I have even heard of a dual core that I didn't know it could run. That's crazy. Dual core is what we're talking 12 years ago. No, it's
not that long, but
not that long, really. Man, it feels like it was. Oh wow, what do you have in there for video?